All of 4 nights before the NBA Finals descend on Gainbridge Fieldhouse. We'll finish off the World Series of high school basketball. Playing in Lexington last night, we're at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, the guy that often calls this the world's greatest basketball arena. I'm literally in his seat where Pacers Radio is normally. Greg Rakestraw, Jan Bozier are with you on the ISC Sports Network. Time for the girls' game of the doubleheader between Indiana and Kentucky as we bring you All-Star Week in Indiana. Tonight's broadcast presented in part by the Ed Martin Automotive Group, the only name you need to know. By Galetco and Daily Work Injury Lawyers. Learn more at IndianaWorkers.com. By Lawrence Township Schools. Learn more about Lawrence Excellence at LTSchools.org. By Nathan Begley of Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance in Avon. Call Nathan today and let's insurance together. By Unranked Hoops, Indy's first Euro-style basketball academy that starts this fall. Check out unrnkd.com. And by HSE Schools, now open to students outside of the HSE district. Learn more at hseschools.org. Jan, you and I had the pleasure of doing this game now for the last several years, and this is a wonderful game regardless of where it's played. But I've already referenced the NBA Finals. The WNBA All-Star Game will be here in less than 2 months. For these kids to play their final high school game on a stage like this is just fantastic.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. And it just, thank you to the Pacers and the Fever and all of them for allowing this to happen, because it puts a certain just spectacular vibe for these young ladies.
A night ago as they come from behind victory for the Kentucky All-Stars. Indiana led 22-10 after 1 quarter. There's a 1-point lead at halftime. Kentucky wins 84-73. Tonight, Jan, Kentucky goes for their first sweep of the girls' series since 2012.
Greg, it was one of those games where, quite honestly, Indiana did not play that bad. Best field goal percentage, best three-point percentage, best free throw percentage, and still lost. But what they did not do was rebound very well, and Kentucky got 10 more free throws than they did.
We are wont to say that, yes, this is an all-star game, but it's not played like one. You would read that from Kentucky's minutes. They've got 6 players that are to play at Division I colleges. 5 of them started last night, and all of them played at least 22 minutes. Miss Basketball Zakiya Johnson's going to LSU. She barely left the floor, 37.5 minutes. I don't blame them one bit. You play to win the game, and Kentucky got it done last night.
Yeah, she did. She put in 28 on Indiana last night. 4 out of their 5 starters, Greg's, were at double figures. 2 of them had double-doubles, so their starting 5 had a pretty good night.
Well, a big part of this game are the pregame ceremonies, pomp, and circumstance. Wanted to make sure we brought that to you. Let's turn it over to Chad Nickum, our public address voice for tonight's game.
Here in the heart of basketball country, home of the Indiana Fever and your Eastern Conference champion Indiana Pacers, for the 50th edition of the Indiana Girls All-Stars. Now, please welcome Kaylin Dickey from Franklin, Indiana, and we invite you to please rise and honor our country as she performs our national anthem.
Stripes in bright
Thank you, Kaylin Dickey. Now, let's meet the rosters from these two great states. First, let's meet the Kentucky All-Stars. Please welcome Kentucky Games Assistant Director Kayla Van Hoots. Head coach from Louisville Sacred Heart, Donna Moyer. Assistant coaches from Owensboro Catholic, Michael Robertson. From Louisville Sacred Heart, Matt Carson. Amy Siegel from Louisville Sacred Heart, and also from Louisville Sacred Heart, Bob Tanani. And now, let's meet the roster for the Kentucky All-Stars. Standing 5'6" and headed to Eastern Kentucky, from Ashland Blazer, Kinley Woods. 6'1" and on her way to Thomas More, from Louisville Sacred Heart, number 14, Morgan Fry. Standing 5'9" and going to midway in Kentucky, from Owensboro Catholic, number 12, Aubrey Randolph. Standing 5'7" and headed to center in Kentucky, from Bethlehem, number 11, Tessa Miles. At 5'10" and on her way to Pikeville, from Knott County Central, number 10, Kyra McElarnis. Standing 6 foot and headed to Campbellsville, from Anderson County, number 8, Lainey Johnson. 5'8" and on her way to St. Leo in Florida, from George Rogers Clark, number 7, Jalen Green. At 5'9", headed to Northern Kentucky, from Newport Central Catholic, number 5, Caroline Eagler. Standing 6 foot on her way to Tennessee Tech, from Franklin Simpson, number 4, Larisha Colthorne. 6'2", and headed to the Big Ten at the University of Michigan, from George Rogers Clark, number 3, Sierra Byers. At 5'9", she is headed to the University of Louisville, from Meade County, number 2, Peyton Bradley. And standing 6 foot on her way to be an LSU Tiger, from Louisville Sacred Heart, the 2025 Miss Basketball for the state of Kentucky, number 1, Zakiya Johnson. And now, let's meet your 2025 Indiana All-Stars. Presenting your Indiana All-Star Director, Hall of Famer Mike Broughton. Indiana All-Star Team Coordinators, Sabrina Davis-Williams and Steve Cox. Our All-Star Trainers, Rob Kroll and Brooke Taylor. Manager, Lola Morelli. The head coach of the Indiana All-Stars from Warren Central, Stacy Mitchell. And the assistant coaches from Hamilton Southeastern, Brian Satterfield. And from Jennings County, Christy Sickler. And now, let's meet the roster for your Indiana All-Stars. Standing at 5'7", headed to St. Francis to be a Cougar, from Twin Lakes, number 13, Addison Bowsman. Standing 6'6", going to Purdue to be a Boilermaker, from Brownsburg, number 12, Avery Gordon. Standing 6'1", and on her way to Ball State to be a Cardinal, from Warsaw, number 11, Brooke Winchester. At 5'11", also headed to the Mid-American Conference, from Akron, South Bend, Washington, is number 10, Monique Mitchell. Standing 5'10", and headed to Taylor University to be a Trojan, from Pendleton Heights, the Arabians, number 9, Casey Warfel. Standing 5'8", and on her way to New Mexico to play for the Lobos. From Lawrence Central, number 8, Layla Abdiraki. Standing 5'9", headed to Southern Indiana to play for the Screaming Eagles from South Knox, number 7, Ella Bowe. Standing 5'8" and going to Illinois State to play for the Redbirds from Lawrence North, number 6, Kaya Hurts. 5'9" and on her way to Vermont to play for the Catamounts from Alexandria, number 5, Jacqueline Hosier. Standing 5'9" and headed to Butler to play for the Bulldogs from Columbia City, number 4, Addison Baxter. Standing 5'10" and headed to the University of Miami of Florida from Noblesville, number 3, Meredith Tipner. Standing 6'2" and on her way to Mississippi State to be a Bulldog from Lawrence Central, number 2, Jayla Lampley. And standing 6'4", headed to Bloomington to be an Indiana Hoosier from Hamilton Southeastern, your 2025 Miss Basketball for the state of Indiana, number 1, Maya Makaluski.
Great job by Chad Nickham, as he always does. Of course, he is the voice of so many IHSA championship events, including last Saturday's boys volleyball finals that we produced via the IHSA Champions Network. Love the sportsmanship, the exchange of the medals representative, and obviously, again, for all these players, the college stage awaits for most of them at the Division I level. This is a final chance to cap off their high school careers.
Yeah, it really is, Greg. And to help that along, we're going to play on the college court tonight, which is a little bit longer than the high school court. So we'll see how that affects these. But listen, what a great, great high school career for all these young ladies, I should say, Greg. And how about all the D1 talent assembled on one court tonight?
For Indiana, they will have 13 in uniform, but 10 will play. Addie Bousman missed her entire senior year at Twin Lakes, headed to St. Francis. Knee injury in the fall, had no time to recover. Again, not able to play tonight. Casey Werfel and Meredith Tipner are both in uniform, but will not play. Meredith, an outstanding two-sport athlete. She was the Indiana High School Soccer Player of the Year. She didn't miss basketball by much on that front. She can play basketball in Miami, Florida. And Casey Werfel, who we saw in the Hoosier Gym Classic, unfortunately a foot injury, she is out as well. Kentucky has 12 in uniform tonight. Makaluski, Lampley, Baxter, Abdur-Rakib, and Winchester, the starting 5 for Indiana. Johnson, Bradley, Byers, Cawthorn, and England, the starting 5 for Kentucky. Ready to roll?
I'm ready to roll. Listen, I think this is going to be a great game. Obviously, Kentucky with the win last night would love to sweep. Indiana wants no part of that.
Be a very competitive game for sure, and Maya Makaluski might get an easy look here to start the game. Rejected by Miss Basketball for Kentucky. Good work. Top of the key shot does not go for Winchester. In college floor. Left-handed shot by Baxter is no good. But Layla Abdur-Rakib able to track it down, and really, this is a two-point guard offense for Indiana now. College shot clock, so the shot clock's at 7. Indiana's got to go. I'm not sure Baxter realizes it. Makaluski needs to put it up. And that's the shot clock.
Yep. Right away, the shot clock comes into play, and it's just one of the things I think after a little bit they'll get used to that. But if they don't used to it now, they will here in the next few months in college.
So again, we're playing the college rules, college-linked floor in tonight's game.
Well, I think there's no question Indiana talk about have to send 5 girls or 4 to help rebound. Rebounding was a real problem last night.
Shot does not go for Kentucky. Taken and missed by Zakiya Johnson. Headed to play at LSU. She had 28 and 11 in the win at Lexington Catholic. Makaluski draws contact, and Maya will shoot 2.
Maya had a nice game last night, put in 18 for Indiana, 4 rebounds. She's just had a spectacular career. You'd like to see maybe a 20-point night tonight. I think this offense goes through her, but certainly there's other capable people who need to perhaps step up a little bit offensively.
Makaleski could not get the free throw to go. She had 18 last night against Kentucky. Against the Indiana Juniors, she led the way with 15 points. Got to the free throw line early and often at Greenfield on Wednesday night. So first point belongs to Indiana, a little more than a minute in. The boys game will follow at 7:30. Deep three does not go, and Lampley with the rebound.
Well, shot clock is one piece of the puzzle. And college, and there's two stripes down there, and we see that sometimes in high school where they forget which one they need to shoot behind.
Now, this is the floor that is also used for the IHSAA state finals as well. It has the high school line included on it too. Shot clock at 7. Makaleski will have to force the issue, and it's tied up. It'll be a turnover. Second one of those for Indiana so far. Head coach Stacy Mitchell for this Indiana team, joined by Brian Satterfield and Christy Sigler. And let's go and get this trivia question out of the way. There's a good look at Stacy. Won a championship in this building 7 years ago with Warren Central High School. But Brian Satterfield is now one of 2 coaches to have coached both a Miss and Mr. Basketball in his coaching days. Foul called against Layla Abdur Rakib. Would you care to guess whom the other one is, Jan Bozier? Other coach that has coached both a Mr. Basketball and a Miss Basketball. And he is a very famous high school head coach.
You know, I don't know if I was thinking of Jimmy Howe, who coached girls and boys, but I don't know. I don't think that's right.
3 is taken and missed by Zakiah Johnson. Ball out of bounds to Indiana. That would be Marvin Wood, the head coach of the 1954 Milan Indians, who coached Bobby Plump, but later in life was the girls basketball coach at Brebeuf High School and had a Miss Basketball back in the 80s.
Awesome.
As well. It's a pretty unique group to be a part of.
I leave educated as I usually do after our broadcast with you, Craig. I did not know that.
Makaleski, not many people. I didn't know until this spring either. Believe me, that was not on the front of my frontal lobe. Ball tipped away by Kentucky. It'll be Addie Baxter to inbound the basketball. Played at Columbia City. We'll play at Butler for Austin Parkinson. She may not leave town. Let's go straight to campus from here. And that's the case for most players. Shot clock down to 7. Good basket cut by Baxter. Give the assist to Jayla Lampley.
Yeah, Lampley with a really nice assist. And I really think somebody who's been really steady is Addison Baxter, Greg. All through the junior games and last night, she's played pretty well.
Good job to read the passing lane by Makaleski. She had hoped it was off her opponent's hands. And Louisville-bound Peyton Bradley. Official says no. Whether Julie Calvert, Anne-Marie Keller, Rachel Rayford are all female officiating crew for this game. Good drive and kick. 3 in the corner is good. That is Caroline Eaglin, who is from Newport Central Catholic. She will literally go down the road to play at Northern Kentucky and Highland Heights next year. Baxter, the stop, scoop, and score. Addie's got both Indiana buckets.
Well, she's right on cue, Greg. I just think she is a perfect fit for Butler University. I just really think the bar is really going to be high for her.
2 things offensive foul here as Winchester just got set in time. At the other end, Eaglin shot deemed a 2. So just a 2 for the Kentucky All-Stars.
Yeah, I looked at some of the stats and some of the quotes, and Kentucky just felt like their defense really was solid last night.
Deep 3 by Makaleski. Had to play at Indiana University. Play for Terry Morant. Pull up 3, not that time, and Makaleski couldn't hang on to it. The putback is there for Larisha Cawthorn. She's going to play in the Ohio Valley Conference at Tennessee Tech. Makaleski the turn, and again, she is equally adept at that as she is 3-point shooting. Lampley the miss. Lampley headed to play at Mississippi State. So the SEC well represented in this game.
Good to see that offensive rebound. Lampley can be that, but I think that piece of the puzzle for this Indiana ball club, get a few more rebounds in this game.
Layla Abdur-Rakib off to New Mexico. Has a 3v1, the slip to Winchester, who bobbles but wisely recovers. Makaleski connects, and Winchester literally gets an assist from the seat of her pants.
Great look. to get to Mikuleski. That's what she does as good as anybody, is that three-pointer.
Older sister Riley going to be playing at West Virginia this coming year after spending the last 2 years at Butler. Mikuleski 4, Baxter 4, and a 4-point Indiana lead midway through the opening quarter. This is Byers headed to Michigan. Catch and shoot three for Kentucky is left short. Again, you can tell that adjustment from the high school line to the college line that's taking place right now. Look at Stacy Mitchell. He is a native of Mississippi. Couple of substitutions now for Kentucky. Morgan Fry going to play at the D2 level at Thomas More. She is from Sacred Heart, one of two Sacred Heart players playing for their high school head coach, and Donna Moyer in this game. Everybody got to play last night for Kentucky, but starters clearly played more minutes. I think that's kind of the understanding. Everybody needs to get some minutes.
Right.
But especially in game number 2, it turns into we're going to play our best 5 and go from there. Free throws for Lampley, but first, our first media timeout. We're back in 30 seconds from Cambridge Fieldhouse. You're watching the Indiana Kentucky All-Star Game. Girls side, Indiana leads by 4 on the ISC Sports Network.
For the first time ever, Hamilton Southeastern Schools is opening its doors
to students residing outside the district.
If you are looking for an award-winning school system
That offers top-tier academics, innovative programs, and endless opportunities.
now is your chance to join us. With more than 21,000 students, HSC is where learning comes to life.
Apply today and become part of a district that's shaping the future. Because at HSC, starts here.
Want to thank our friends at the Milan 54 Museum. The Milan 54 Hoosiers Museum houses artifacts and memorabilia of the Milan Muncie Central 1954 championship game, and also the largest single collection of items from the Hoosiers movie. The museum is located at 201 West Carr Street in Milan and is open Wednesday through Saturday from 10 until 4. For more information, log on to milan54.org. Mr. Bozier, have you had the pleasure of going to the Milan Museum yet?
No, but I will get there.
We will remedy that at some point in time this summer. I'll actually be visiting next Wednesday. I'm on the board. We got a board meeting.
I know you are.
And the two things I tell about the museum, every time I see it for the first time, or when I go, there is a bracket of the 700-plus teams of the 1954 tournament that's in there, and everybody goes and finds their small town or where they're from to see how they did back in '54. And there were far more jerseys that were produced for the movie Hoosiers that never saw the light of day in the movie. Every team is represented in that Hall of Fame.
That's awesome.
It is worth
I will
your
make
time.
it up there. I will make it up there.
So here's Jayla Lampley.
You know, Greg, an early stat that you have to be excited about. 10 rebounds now for Indiana, 5 of those offense compared to Kentucky, 3 rebounds, 1 offensive. So that's off to a much better start rebounding.
And Lampley makes them both. She knows playing in this building. She and Layla Abdur-Rakib, part of the 2024 IHSA H-State champs from Lawrence Central. Their township rivals Lawrence North claimed that state championship this year. Mentioned that Fry was in the game. Jalen Green in as well. Jalen going to play at D2 St. Leo in Florida. This is Jalen here. Shot clock at 5. No subs yet for Indiana. 3 is taken and missed. Winchester couldn't get there in time. That's Bradley that tracks it down. That was a long 2 that does not go. And Baxter controls the glass for Indiana. Baxter will go 94 feet. Good hands by Peyton Bradley. Peyton averaged 28 points a game, going to play at the University of Louisville, which is not far from home for her. She is from Meade County. And you know, there are some that enjoy my geography knowledge of other places outside of Indiana. Meade County is just west of Louisville. It is due south of Harrison County, the green wave of Meade County. Foul going to be called against Kentucky. And I know this because I have my great nephew would have been Peyton's high school classmate at Meade County High School. So I'm a little more, I played on the old Tartan floor at Meade County, but I have a little knowledge of that place. Here's Kaya Hurt. We mentioned Lawrence North. Headed to play at Illinois State. Her lefty runner does not go.
Another offensive rebound for Indiana.
Lampley fires a deep 3. That does not go. And out of there with it is Morgan Fry. Here's Bradley. The trap by Indiana leads to a steal. And McAlusky has numbers. Kaya Hurt. Ball poked away. Both teams going to the bench early and often for Indiana. Ella Bobe, again, first All-Star in South Knox High School history. That is Monique Mitchell, you see on your screen, from South Bend, Washington. She's going to head to play at University of Akron in the Mid-American Conference. The basket cut by McAlusky, and again, other than outside the arc, when she can get downhill right wing, it's usually a basket.
Well, she's got great length, and she just has a great basketball IQ, Greg. Moving without the basketball is one thing she does incredibly well.
Catch and shoot three on the left side is good. Larisha Cawthorn from Franklin Simpson High School. First three made by Kentucky. Hurt lost the handle. Turnover by Indiana is their third. Pull up three by Bradley, yes.
Wow.
Back-to-back buckets for Kentucky. And Indiana got off to a great start yesterday, but hanging on to the lead.
Well, Bradley shot it well in high school, Greg. 42% behind the arc, so she's certainly comfortable back there shooting.
McAlusky the miss. Mitchell the bobble. Turnover by Indiana. Make it 4. Good hustle back by Bobe and prevents what would have been an easy layup, and McAlusky will track it down. Indiana has a numbers advantage if they continue to push. Winchester turns down the 2. Bobe misses. But again, McAlusky using that 6'4" frame, and again, for a shooter, she is great about getting to the line.
Well, she's really active right now. We talked about this in the opening. She did an excellent job of help crashing the boards, even though she plays for the most part outside and will at Indiana, Greg. But what you like about her, because of her 6'4" and her great length, she can be a good guard rebounder.
So McAlusky 1 of 2 from the free throw line. You mentioned sister playing at West Virginia. Mom played at Villanova. It is not easy to recognize Maya's mom in the crowd because she and Maya could go as sisters.
Is that right?
Not mother and daughter, yes. Jen's easy to spot. Maya with 8. It's a 4-point lead for Indiana. 5-out offense here. Cawthorn's already made 1, which makes Winchester have to get out and guard her. And that'll be a reach-in foul on the floor. Just the second foul against Indiana. Again, the girls' high school rules, the same as the women's college rules in terms of 5 fouls sends you to 2-shot penalty. No free throws here. Avery Gordon will check in for Indiana. Headed to play at Purdue. I now know where the Brownsburg team is sitting. I heard the cheer.
Yeah, I heard the cheer, yeah.
When Avery got in the game.
Good for them.
All a 6'6" is Avery. Indiana still 2 starters on the floor. Again, they have 10 players that will see action tonight. Oh, just couldn't get there in time. Runner, no. Put back blocked by Gordon. And they're going to wave it off because stepping on the sideline before that ball got the friendly bounce. Bradley turns it over. Last year, Indiana got the sweep. These two teams had split each weekend for the previous 6 playings of the series. So last night's loss snapped a 3-game winning streak in the series for Indiana. Mitchell trying to find Gordon. Gordon shot blocked. It will remain Indiana basketball. Shot clock at 10. McAlusky threw it off the back of the Kentucky player.
Great thought. You've seen that play work many a times when the defender's back is to the inbounder, just bounce it off of her.
Shot clock at 7. Mitchell will have to go. She obliges. And again, Risley knew she did the rim, so it had to go up, and it did, and Mitchell gets the bucket. Largest lead for Indiana was 8, currently at 6. deep three that misses everything. And turnover committed. Right now, Kentucky 2 of 9 from three-point range. Just 10 first quarter points for Kentucky yesterday. Still won by 11. Trying to get it to Gordon. Good defense by the undersized Morgan Fry.
Yeah, tough pass.
At the other end, running the floor. Bucket is good for Aubrey Randolph. Still play at Midway at the NAI level from Owensboro Catholic High School. Gordon couldn't catch that from Abdur-Rakib.
Kentucky on a little bit of a run right now. Still a 4-point Indiana lead, but Kentucky's starting to make some moves here.
Hosier has yet to see the floor for Indiana. All the players in uniform, but 3 will not play off the bench tonight. See the difference in shot clock and game clock on your screen. Good ball movement. Bradley for 3. Got
Bingo.
it. Great team basketball rewarded for the team from the Bluegrass.
Yeah, Bradley, we talked about her, 42% senior this year. Just really a great stroke. Average 28 a game. She can put it in the hole.
One of 2 Louisville Cardinals. Grayson Bugwa is the other. Didn't play in last night's game for Kentucky. Abdur-Rakib with the dish. Lampley shot blocked. That is rare for Jayla. And that pass to Eagle, and she had caught it, but not had time to put it up and in. So, Indiana led for most of the quarter. Kentucky has reeled it back to 1. Indiana 16, Kentucky 15. We're back in 30 seconds. You're watching the Indiana Kentucky All-Star Game on the ISC Sports Network.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
I want to thank our friends at the Ed Martin Automotive Group. I want to congratulate Jayla Lampley, Layla Abdur-Rakib, and Kaya Hurt representing LC and Lawrence North for being a part of today's Indiana Kentucky All-Star Classic. When it comes to your next car, Ed Martin will need to know. Find out more at edmartin.com. I love the fact that we have what we call a beauty shot. Isn't that finals logo next to Pacers wonderful?
That's a real shot, and that is awesome. This place is electric, and it hasn't even started yet.
Now, would you like me to tie in one of those players to this game?
Absolutely.
So, Pascal Siakam there on the left is one of the 4 Siakam brothers that all played Division I college basketball. His brother, Boris, played for the Kentucky All-Stars.
There you go.
So, Christian Pascal, one of Pascal's also older brothers, played his college basketball here at IUPUI. I had a chance to call his games back in the day, but I also was part of the series when Boris played for the Kentucky All-Stars nearly 20 years ago. Winchester, Hurt, Lampley, Makaluski, and Jackie Hosier on the floor. Jackie going to play at Vermont. Her dad, a fantastic basketball player in his days at There's Sheridan Lamont, Alexandria, and Ball State as well. Hurt, the blow by, off the window, score it. Kaya Hurt gets her first bucket of the game. She had 4 last night.
Well, LN, you just talked about them. She gets the opening shot in quarter 2.
Missed opportunity by Kentucky, a little miscommunication, but Bradley fires it up. That does not go. Lampley with inside position. Hurt will track it down.
Greg, I thought both teams played pretty well in quarter 1. A little bit of a slower pace.
Lampley, no, but Hosier is there. And he'll reset. Hurt lines it up. Long 2, give it to her. Toe on the line. Long 2 for Kaya Hurt. Back-to-back buckets for the state champ this spring at Lawrence North. Read by Makaluski. She's been trying to poach those passing lanes all game long. heady play and missed basketball already in double digits.
Yeah, and, you just knew for Indiana this offense needed to go through her. But what I like about her is how aggressive she is being, and she's playing guard.
She's played 3 games against Kentucky over the last couple of years. She's been in double digits every game. She was one of the stars of a significant win for these classes as juniors at Scottsburg last year. 3 is good. Tough shot. That's Tessa Miles that gets it to go. She's going to play at the Division III level at Center College in Kentucky from Bethlehem High School. Lampley on the drive, too strong. Makaluski kept it alive, but it'll be out of bounds to Kentucky. Missed basketball back in Johnson. Sierra Myers will return as well. We referenced some major minutes played for the Kentucky starters last night. Indiana starters all played in the 23 to 28 minute range. That number might be more this evening.
Oh, I think it probably will be. They do not want this thing to go 2-0 Kentucky, I guarantee you. They're going to play who they need to play, I think, to win this game, period.
Touch last by Hosier. Hosier was in the top 5 in multiple statewide categories this past year. Averaging 25 points a game for Alexandria. Shot clock at 9. Winchester flies out to the shooter, and Makaluski snares the rebound. She's already got 10 points, has 4 boards as well. Hosier turns down the shot, finds Winchester. So the daughter of a Ball State Cardinal finds the Ball State Cardinal, and Winchester will shoot 2.
Yeah, good. Indiana's looking for transition where they can get it here. They've had some good looks. They've not had a great percentage at finishing on transition, but they are getting there. Let's see if they can get some finals and get that thing in the hoop.
And I'm pretty sure that camera shot was by a Ball State Cardinal too, as Kaya Hurt takes the shot and misses. Thanks to Eric Kinnett, Brian Pierce, Carlos Alarkin. Thanks to David Kahn, Vince Morales. Our entire ISC Sports Network crew producing this one. And thank you. How could I forget Dennis Glover?
How could you forget Dennis Glover?
I got a lot of facts in my brain right now, Jan. I got 48 players I'm thinking about.
You are overloaded facts right now. I get it. I'll cut you a little
These
slack.
are my 7th and 8th basketball games in a week.
I'll cut you a little slack.
Short-term memory is a problem right now. Indiana with a 4-point lead. Missed basketball on missed basketball. Little help from Winchester.
Wow.
Ended up not being help at all. Winchester the foul, the bucket for Zakiya Johnson. Her first after having 28 a night ago.
Well, what you see out of Johnson right here is her physicality. And she let it be known, man, listen, you're going to take me one-on-one. I'm going to power myself down there and go up strong. Boy, she had a great night last night, didn't she?
28 and 11. Missed that one.
Going to be a tiger.
Hurt. Nobody ever stopped the ball. It's just kind of kept going.
Yeah. But once again, Indiana gets there, doesn't finish.
Lampley, though, gets the quick steal. And Hurt will recycle. They want a ball screen to get her to her stronger left side. She'll pull instead. That does not go. And Byers, the rebound. Outlet pass contested again, and that's what Kaya Hurt does so well. Winchester, one of those 3,000-point scores for Warsaw that got them here to the Fieldhouse. Runners up in 4A. Couldn't get that one to go. Brooke last night had 12 rebounds, but just 2 points,
2 points,
in
right.
Kentucky. Chance to tie or take the lead here for the team representing the Bluegrass. And by the way, Kentucky, your new uniforms this year look awesome.
You have just
job
raved.
well done.
You have raved on these uniforms.
Byers, that jump shot's as good looking as uniforms are. Byers, again, heading to play at Michigan. Ties us at 22. It's a 7-0 run here for Team Kentucky.
Yeah, you could kind of feel the momentum starting to shift to their side. They've tied it up now. Indiana's kind of regroup here a little bit, get going.
And Makaluski just as comfortable there as she was low block. missed the shot, and now numbers. Players had rotated down for Indiana. Good fast break run by Kentucky, and that's Morgan Fry.
Yeah, and Kentucky's finishing at the rim. That's something Indiana has not done a great job of, especially in transition.
Make it 9 in a row for Kentucky. Again, looking for the first sweep in 13 years of Indiana. Long to Winchester.
There you go. Winchester's kind of struggled here in this All-Star Series a little bit offensively. She can put up some numbers. Good shot there.
Going to a Ball State program that is really, really one of the betters in the mid-major level of women's basketball these days. Shot short, but Byers puts it up and in. Byers with 4. Indiana winning the rebounding battle, but Kentucky got one there. Hurt got bumped. Foul on Miles. And that will lead us to our next media timeout. A good battle in this one, as we expected. Kentucky in front, 26-24. We're back in 30 seconds. You're watching the Kentucky All-Star Game on the ISC Sports Network.
The MSD of Lawrence Township embodies educational excellence, unlocking the full potential of every student we serve. Where innovation meets tradition, our students excel in welcoming safe, state-of-the-art facilities. A traditional public school district, Lawrence Township boasts a 95% graduation rate. On the court and in the arts, our students excel. Join the Lawrence Township family, where learners thrive, surrounded by values that resonate with home. Lawrence Township, your destination for a brighter future.
Want to thank our friends at Unranked Hoops. They are partnering with Indy Heat Gym Rats, Indiana's only Nike, EYBL, AAU basketball program. Unranked Hoops dedicated to building a better way to do youth basketball. They're a series of skill development programs and Indy's first Euro-style basketball academy that starts this fall. Inside the walls of the newly renovated Unranked Hoops factory in Indianapolis, Unranked provides opportunities for both boys and girls youth hoopers to learn the skills needed for long-term development and success. Check out unranked.com, that's UNRNKD.com, for updates and to join their email list.
Well, we got a good battle going on, Greg. Indiana has led most of this game, but Kentucky now has taken the lead for the first time.
McAleskey's 10 leads all scores. For Kentucky, Peyton Bradley's 2 threes paces the way. Kentucky had points from 7 players last night. They have topped that already. 8 have scored so far in this one. So free throws incoming for Indiana. In the boys' game at 7:30. We'll break away between contests, but we'll join you in the same place as you're finding us now. Twitter, YouTube, Apple TV, Roku, and ISCSportsNetwork.com, and our audience that has the ISC Sports Network television channel. Hurt. Got it to go. Hurt with 5.
Indiana only shot 9 free throws last night. They hit 7, but compared to Kentucky's 27, and they made 17 last night.
Are you trying to tell me Kentucky shot more free throws in their building last night?
Just saying.
That's been talked about in years gone by.
Yes, it has been. I think it was talked about last night, too.
On the drive, shot is good. Good feed. Bucket up and in by Larisha Cawthorn.
Kentucky's starting to get a lot at the rim, Greg. Here's another great pass and score.
It's not an overly big Kentucky team, not a small team, but it's a team that moves very well.
Yeah, they really do.
Little zone look here by Kentucky. Again, not your average all-star game.
An all-star zone.
Hurts. Again, couldn't get it back to her left hand. Can do so here. And draws contact. 3rd foul against Kentucky. Underneath out of bounds, coming here for Indiana.
Hurt really does a good job right here, getting the defender up off their feet, moves back into him, gets the foul called on Kentucky.
Kaya Hurt will check out. Abdur-Rahim, McAleskey, Mitchell, Winchester, and Baxter. Shot clock at 18. Abdur-Rahim can knock that down. That one doesn't go, but I don't think you want to leave her atop that zone.
No, she can hit that. We've seen her hit that, Greg.
Good flyby, but the pull-up, good-looking shot that would not go for Johnson. Baxter, you could hear the ask of stop ball. Mitchell could not track it down, but Makaleski, 2 for Abdur-Rakib.
Great look by Makaleski to see the open player, Greg.
That is the 7th different Indiana player to crack the scoring column of the 10 that will play tonight. Back to a 1-point lead for the Bluegrass State. Good basket cut. The extra pass leads to a good look from 3 that does not go. That was Laney Johnson that made that baseline drive. Baxter got bumped. 4th team foul underneath out of bounds. Laney, by the way, from Anderson County. She's going to play at Campbellsville at the NAI level next year. And now, Kyra McAlarnis, also going to play in the NAI ranks. There's a bevy of those schools in Kentucky, just like there are in Indiana, too. She's going to play at Pikeville.
I have heard of Pikeville. I know where that one's at.
The slip. Winchester.
There you go.
The assist to Layla Abdur-Rakib.
Good little two-man play there, Greg. A little high pick and then roll, and the ball was perfect.
Byers for 3, no. Good rebound by Layla, but poked away by Kentucky. Johnson misses. And then fouled by Layla. Johnson will shoot 2. 7 turnovers now by Indiana, 6 so far for Kentucky. Johnson averaged 21 points a game. Her high school days at Anderson County. He was a 79% free throw shooter during the season. High school team went 25-9 this past year. Missed them both. But scrap with a loose ball. The jump ball points the way of Team Indiana.
Well, the good news still in this ball game with 2:48 left in this first half, Indiana doing still, Greg, a much better job on the boards, leading 27-21, and 13 of those are offensive. That's been a really solid stat, especially from last night where Kentucky really kind of dominated on the glass.
Little diamond in 1 full court pickup here by Kentucky.
Oh, that's her spot. I thought she would take that.
Mitchell says, I will. And
Mitchell said, I got a little better look.
Makaleski will take the assist.
Yeah, Makaleski, to her credit, said, hey, little extra pass. I like it.
Back to a 3-point lead for Indiana.
That's just what makes good players great.
Bradley trying to wipe that away and does. Her 3rd 3 of the game.
Well, that's not surprising. 42% senior high school career. That's pretty amazing.
Winchester, the extra pass. Baxter lays it up and in.
Great back cut by Baxter. I just really like her game. I know I've said it, but I'm going to say it again.
Crossed the 1,000-point mark while playing during the Hall of Fame Classic last year, which Columbia City won. And Addie came back and had to be a lot more of the offense this year. She had a very senior-laden group around her.
She did.
Her previous year. Ball was kicked. It'll be Indiana ball. It was kicked by a Kentucky player. Laney Johnson will check out. And a 30-second timeout taken by Coach Moyer and Team Kentucky. I want to thank our friends at Lawrence Township Schools, voted Indy's best public schools. The Metropolitan School District of Lawrence Township is the district of destination where excellence empowers everyone to reach their full potential. Through innovation and education, we educate all students on their education pathways to graduation, college, and career. Learn more about LT, your district of destination, at ltschools.org. And Lawrence Township Schools want to congratulate Jayla Lampley, Layla Abdur-Rakib, and Kaya Hurt for playing in tonight's game.
Well, Lawrence Schools has got a lot to be proud of. You mentioned that early. Last couple of years, Greg, in girls basketball, it's been all about Lawrence Schools. And I got to tell you, Greg, while we got a second, I want to say Meredith Tipner, you know, we've seen in the Hoosier Classic, she's been hurt. but she came and supported that team. She's been here and supported these guys. I just think that's a class act thing to do. Expect nothing less from a Miller.
I knew that was coming. Ella Bobe on the drive. Finds Makaleski for 3. Not that time. Baxter kept it alive, but tracked down by Eaglin for Kentucky. Good job of running the floor by Indiana. Prevent what would have been an easy layup. But Bradley will maintain possession. The largest lead has been 8. That was early for Indiana. Both teams have led here in the quarter. Shot clock at 6. On the drive, Mitchell just lowered that arm when she didn't need to. And 2 free throws coming up for Jalen Green.
Indiana just a little bit late, rotating over, helping defensively. Clearly the foul.
She's going to head to St. Leo, which is just north of the Tampa-St. Petersburg area. Sunshine State Conference. Played at George Rogers Clark High School. She and Sierra Byers were high school teammates. Misses them both.
Yeah, and Kentucky has not shot well from the free throw line, at least here in the first half at all.
Well, they left points on the line for sure. Baxter was touched last by Cawthorn. Indiana will have it. Less than a minute to play here in the quarter. Kentucky did not attempt a free throw in quarter number 1. They have not made a free throw in quarter number 2. They're 0 for 5 at the stripe. Makaleski somehow found Baxter, and Byers swats that away. Bobe will play at Southern Indiana. Makes the catch here. Mitchell turns, misses. Bobe couldn't track it down. Bobe got to play in this building back in February as she led the South Knox Spartans to the 2A championship. Makaleski whistled for the foul. 4th against Indiana, no free throws there, but now both teams, if there is another foul, will be in the 2-shot penalty for the remainder of the half.
Well, that's 2 on Makaleski. I suspect we'll see a sub for her.
There it is. You were saying?
Yep.
Lampley in, replacing Maya.
I like the way Makaleski, though, was getting after it defensively, though. She was really hounding her. Finally, official said that's a little too much. Got that second personal with less than 40 seconds.
Listen, she will play immediately at Indiana. And obviously Indiana's turned into a whale of a program under Terry Morin, but Maya will contribute immediately. Outlet pass deflected, taken away by Kentucky. 8th Indiana turnover. Bradley, my goodness, Mitchell hurdled her. She fouled her with the back of her thigh as she was trying to clear her head. It'll be 2 free throws coming up for Kentucky.
Well, to your point, Greg, when you're 6'4", can handle the ball, you can shoot 40% behind the arc, and just a great assist. How can you keep her off the floor?
Now, Jan, you are both our analyst and our Mike Pereira, you know, when it comes to officiating.
Yes.
I want to see how you would signal that to the scorer's table when you make the move to put, you know, the thigh on top of the head as far as the foul call. Just kind of, you know, put your hand behind your head and say that's where the contact happened. You wouldn't try to do yoga to get in that position.
Well, when I was younger, I may have did yoga look, but older, you do the simplest form of indicators.
Eaglin finally got a free throw to go. Makaleski now a little offense for defense. She'll come back in. So Indiana will hold for a final look of the half. Trying to take at worst a 1-point lead to the break. Miles will come back in. Zakiya Johnson has just 2 points tonight after having 28 last night. Will check out.
How about this pace? Low 30s going into halftime.
This is played like a college conference game.
Yes, it is.
A rivalry game. Baxter, the blow by, the step through left hand, give it to her. Addie Baxter's got 8. Still time for Kentucky. Clock doesn't stop here. Needs to be a half court heave, not in time.
Whoa.
Would not have counted if it had gone. 35-32 at the break. Indiana leads Kentucky. Our halftime show comes right next. You're watching Indiana-Kentucky All-Star Game from Gamebridge Fieldhouse on the ISC Sports Network.
What's in a name? What's in a name? Ed Martin Automotive Group, the only name you need to know.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Hamilton Southeastern is now welcoming students outside of our district.
Whether your child dreams of excelling in the classroom,
exploring in STEM, thriving in art, or competing in athletics, HSC has it all.
Small class sizes, top-ranked educators, and a focus on academic excellence
makes HSC the perfect place to learn and grow. Apply now through April 1st for priority consideration.
We are back inside that building, Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Of course, 4 days from now, the home of NBA Finals game number 3 tonight, home of the Indiana-Kentucky All-Star game on the ISC Sports Network. At halftime, it is Indiana 35 and Kentucky 32. Today's game is brought to us by Brady Laurie and Laurie Law, serving the citizens of Marion, Johnson, Hamilton, surrounding counties for over 25 years. If you or someone you know is criminal trouble or has been injured, make the call to Brady for a consultation. Let Brady put his negotiating skills and court experience to work for you. Call 317-250-7783 or email bradyjlaurie@gmail.com. Brady Laurie, your criminal defense and personal injury trial lawyer. Greg Rakestraw, Jan Bozier with you. Jan, your thoughts on an entertaining first half?
Yeah, I thought the pace kind of favored Indiana a little bit. I think they're a little more comfortable with a slower pace, a little more half-court look inside, outside. Kentucky pushed it at times, but I think the real key, Kentucky not getting to the free throw line near like they did last night. And certainly you don't get there, you can't hit them.
Scoring in the first half, Maya Makaluski with 10. She's the only player from either side that is in double figures. Addie Baxter with 8. Monique Mitchell with 5. 5 for Kaya Hurt, 4 for Brooke Winchester, 2 for Layla Abdur-Rakib and Jayla Lampley. Jackie Hosier, Ella Bobe, Avery Gordon all played but did not score. For Kentucky, 9 for Peyton Bradley, 7 for Larisha Cawthorn, 3 for Caroline Eaglin, 2 for Sierra, 4 for Sierra Byers, 2 for Morgan Fry, 3 for Tessa Miles, 2 for Aubrey Randolph. Jalen Green, Lainey Johnson, Kyra McAlarnis all played but did not score. In terms of shooting numbers in the half for Kentucky, they were 13 for 35 from the floor, 5 of 15 from three-point range, 1 of 7 from the line. For Indiana, they were 14 of 40 from the field, 1 of 11 from three-point range, 6 of 8 from the line. Indiana led the rebounding battle, 29-23, and that margin the same in second chance points, 10-4. That might be the difference in the game so far. Paint points, 18-12 in favor of Indiana. In terms of leading rebounders, both Maya Makaluski and Layla Abdur-Rakib have 6 for Indiana, 4 rebounds for Peyton Bradley to pace the way for Kentucky. Peyton has 5 assists, and of note, she played for all but 44 seconds of the first half for Kentucky. Maya Makaluski got kind of a similar nod. She played all for 1 minute and 9 seconds in the first half. Indiana's missed basketball. Of those numbers, Jan, what jumps off the page for you?
Well, clearly the rebounding lead is, I think, a difference. And like you said, mainly the offensive rebounds, 13 so far from Indiana. Kentucky has just 9. But I really felt like Makaluski just put the team on her shoulders. And while she didn't have to force things, she really put pressure. Defense, great extra pass. She has 10, great. I think that's perfect for her. I really felt like she understood what she needed to do to get this team going in half number 1.
The players she recognized, those were the junior All-Stars. They're getting their recognition for today's game. Some of our future All-Stars will be recognized next. Junior All-Stars, coached by Lenny Krebs, again, who was the head coach of the 4A runners-up in Warsaw this past season. We'll take this quick timeout. When we come back, we'll have our first half highlights. Again, at the break, it is Indiana 35, Kentucky 32. You're watching the Indiana Kentucky All-Star Game from Gamebridge Fieldhouse, and you're doing so on the ISC Sports Network.
What's in a name? What's in a name? Ed Martin Automotive Group, the only name you need to know.
The MSD of Lawrence Township embodies educational excellence, unlocking the full potential of every student we serve. Where innovation meets tradition, our students excel in welcoming safe, state-of-the-art facilities. A traditional public school district, Lawrence Township boasts a 95% graduation rate. On the court and in the arts, our students excel. Join the Lawrence Township family, where learners thrive, surrounded by values that resonate with home. Lawrence Township, your destination for a brighter future.
Have you been injured at work? Visit your work injury lawyers at indianaworkers.com. We help injured workers. For a free consultation, go to indianaworkers.com, a division of Galitko and Daly. We go to work when you can't. Have you been injured at work? Visit your work injury lawyers at indianaworkers.com. We help injured workers. For a free consultation, go to indianaworkers.com, a division of Galitko and Daly. We go to work when you can't.
Look at our highlights, Jan, from half number one. You heard me rattle off numbers. I got your overall opinion. Let's kind of go inside each huddle, so to speak. If you are Stacy Mitchell, what is your message to your ladies at halftime?
Well, I think clearly you continue pounding the boards. I think that's what got you where you were. You got to finish in transition. Maybe if they had one piece that they need to just improve on, they had some good looks at the rim, Greg. Didn't have a great percentage of final or finishing at in transition. So I don't think they change a whole lot. I think they like the pace. They look comfortable, a little bit slower half-court pace.
If you're Donna Moyer of Kentucky, your ladies are down by 3 on the road, a chance to get a rare sweep. What is your message?
Well, I thought they got way too comfortable shooting the three, and some of them were way outside. So I don't think that's what they do great. I think what they do great is being physical, and at times we see their physical play, and boy, that's tough when they get down there and get physical. I think they talk about, guys, let's get to the free throw line a little more in half number 2.
Again, a look outside of Gamebridge Fieldhouse. How busy has this place been? How busy will it be? NBA Finals games 3 and 4 on Wednesday and Friday. Game 6 if necessary. Of course, Game 2 in Oklahoma City tomorrow night. I want to thank our buddy Nathan Begley of Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. You're good at lots of things like cheering your team on to victory. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance agent Nathan Begley is good at your insurance. That's why Nathan's here to help you think through any question about your auto, home, renters, business, or life insurance. Talk to Nathan in person, online, over the phone at 317-507-7871 or stop by his office at 9821 East US Highway 36 in Avon. As we've established this week, right next to Nothing But Cakes. Start with your local Avon agent, Nathan Bagley, Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, and let's insurance together. And Nathan wants to congratulate Avery Gordon of Brownsburg on being an Indiana All-Star. We'll take this quick timeout. We'll come back with a preview of the boys' game coming up and a recap of the week that has been. Again, this is Game 7 we have covered with an 8 left to go tonight. At halftime, Indiana girls lead the Kentucky girls 35-32. You're watching from Gamebridge Fieldhouse on the ISC Sports Network. McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is
God, there you go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
That is Wrestler! Wrestler!
Whoa! Hey there, my name is Jake Query.
And I'm Derek Schultz.
And we are part of, actually, the entirety of at least from an on-air standpoint. Query and Schultz on the ISC Sports Network. It's appropriately named. It's charitably award-winning. And Derek, now we venture into season number 5. Hard to believe.
5 of them. 5 of them. Can you believe it? 2 best buds talking Colts, Pacers, Indiana sports every Tuesday night, 7:30, ISC Sports Network, and on socials as well.
It is made possible, of course, by the people who watch and listen every single week. We are most appreciative. We look forward to season number 5.
Got fouled, got the dunk, got the poster, and gets the highlights. Now he takes the look away, and he puts it away. Back at Cambridge Fieldhouse, both teams yet to come back out to start warm-ups for half number 2. And at the break, Indiana leads Kentucky 35-32. Last night at Lexington Catholic High School, Indiana on the boys' side got the win 98-89. And Braylon Mullins, again, he's so good. He had 18 on Wednesday. You kind of thought, is he all right?
Yeah.
He had 24 last night, and Braylon gets to play like his other teammates. A final high school game here at Cambridge Fieldhouse.
Well, I thought he put the performance up last night that we would kind of expect him to do. And to your point, I even asked you, was he okay Wednesday night? Still had a good game, not great, but last night he did what he did. I thought Zachary's really starting to come alive with this team. And how about Singleton, Greg? Come in and put 3 threes on. He really kind of gave the lift. Now, Xavier Robinson is playing good, but I really hope that Xavier can have a Xavier game tonight because he is so capable of having a big game. I'd like to see him have that tonight.
Again, the boys' game is set for a 7:30 start. We'll have coverage for you right here on the ISC Sports Network. More with us earlier this week. Indiana swept Kentucky in the Junior All-Star game. Those are played at the great Charlestown High School Gymnasium on Sunday. The Indiana girls won by 42. The Indiana boys were up by 30-plus. That got whittled down to an 11-point game by the end. Then on Wednesday night, the Indiana seniors beat the Indiana juniors 81-71. The Indiana juniors beat the Indiana senior boys 117-114. The obvious star of the first 2 days of competition. We overlooked the Futures game. I'll get there in a second. But Luke Ertl scored 70 points in 2 games. And, Jan, I think there is a very good chance that Mr. Basketball calls Hancock County home 2 years in a row.
Well, I tell you got to at least call him for now the clear front runner because, man, he was super comfortable. I think he had a little chip on his shoulder because he was in the backyard of Hancock County at Greenfield, and boy, did he put on a show.
And you were with me on Monday night as well at Fishers High School. Again, Indiana's northern half of the state won both the Futures games on the girls' side and the boys' side. But again, Janice, as we talked about, there is now something kind of for every high school class in this week. I think that's something pretty special.
Man, I was amazed how good that freshman class was coming in. Will be sophomores, and the sophomores to juniors. You know, we sit there and call the game, and you're going, wow, these guys play like veteran seniors. They just do. They put on an unbelievable show. I was so impressed.
Again, that was on Monday night, and folks, the games that, other than the ones in Lexington, the ones that are played in Indiana, you can go back and watch all of those anytime at iscsportsnetwork.com. Again, 8 games of Indiana high school basketball action here in the month of June. We'll take one final 90-second break. We'll come back with third quarter action from Cambridge Fieldhouse. It's Indiana 35, Kentucky 32. You're watching on the ISC Sports Network.
For the first time ever, Hamilton Southeastern Schools is opening its doors
to students residing outside the district.
If you are looking for an award-winning school system
that offers top-tier academics, innovative programs, and endless opportunities,
now is your chance to join us. With more than 21,000 students, HSC is where learning comes to life.
Apply today and become part of a district that's shaping the future. Because at HSC, excellence starts here.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
The MSD of Lawrence Township embodies educational excellence, unlocking the full potential of every student we serve. Where innovation meets tradition, our students excel in welcoming safe, state-of-the-art facilities. A traditional public school district, Lawrence Township boasts a 95% graduation rate. On the court and in the arts, our students excel. Join the Lawrence Township family, where learners thrive, surrounded by values that resonate with home. Lawrence Township, your destination for a brighter future.
Okay, let's thank our friends at Unranked Hoops. They're partnering with Indy Heat Gym Rats, Indiana's only Nike EYBL basketball program. Unranked Hoops is dedicated to building a better way to do youth basketball through a series of skill development programs. Indy's first Euro-style basketball academy that starts this fall. Inside the walls, newly renovated Unranked Hoops factory in Indianapolis. Unranked provides opportunities for both girls and boys youth hoopers to learn the skills needed for long-term development and success. Check out unranked.com. That's UNRNKD.com. For more info, please sign up for their email list for updates. Want to make sure we thank the folks at Pacer Sports Entertainment for kind enough to let us come in here and bring this game to you wherever you might be watching around the world. So thanks to Mark Gruber, thanks to Brian Rogat, thanks to everybody involved with the Pacers. Not that they're really busy right now or anything like that. Pacers playing in the NBA Finals for the first time in 25 years. And of course, every Fever game is now a sellout in this building as well. In fact, they're on the road tonight. They're on the road on Tuesday. Games 3 and 4 are here Wednesday, Friday. Fever are back in here on Saturday. It almost sounds like we would talk about March.
Yeah.
You know, the NCAA tournaments and Big Ten tournaments and Pacers games. We're kind of in a similar run of events right here at Gamebridge, and we're thankful to be a small part of it here on ISC.
You know, you're around this as much or more than anybody, but it's more than just another game here at Gamebridge. You were telling me this whole section has been kind of positioned over to our left for nothing more than media. Of course, all the big network stuff set up. There's massive tents all on the one side of the parking lot. I mean, it's more than just a basketball game.
If your normal seats are in section 229, you're moving.
You ain't setting.
For games 3 and 4, just so you know.
Yeah, it's quite the undertaking for sure.
It's a good problem to have. Johnson, long three does not go. Winchester able to track it down. Same starting five for Indiana. Baxter, Winchester, Lampley, Makaluski, and Abdur-Rakib. Baxter with 8. Shot clock at 10.
The shot clock was a little bit of a problem early, but I thought both teams kind of really fit into the shot clock as the game progressed. I didn't think we had a lot of violations as the game kind of took over, but early on it was a little bit of a new thing for them.
Little bunny hop that time by Makaluski. Draws the whistle. 9th Indiana turnover. Makaluski takes a tumble. Cawthorn got an uncontested catch, but good job by Winchester. And then Cawthorn gives the foul. Longer halftime than these ladies are used to. That was 15 minutes plus at the break. Saw a little bit of zone from Kentucky. Indiana scored on it in a couple of possessions, and it's been back to man-to-man. Baxter lost the handle. Yeah, just stumbled making the move, and Indiana comes out of the gate with 2 turnovers. Morgan Fry, who was really the only player off the bench that played significant minutes for Kentucky. And again, you see her jersey, it says Woods. That's not her jersey, but Fry is wearing that tonight. Runner, and a foul. Kaya Johnson gets just her second bucket of the game. And a free throw here can tie us up.
Well, clearly not the start she had last night, but once again here a couple times she showed the physical part of her game. When she goes down low, Greg, she can physical on you, and there she put that in and the and one. But at least for right now, Greg, 5 points, a little bit of a slow start for her.
She literally had a third of their points last night to Johnson, and that was another Indiana turnover. All of a sudden, Indiana's having trouble running an offense. 3 trips, 3 giveaways. Was the same starting 5 for Kentucky before Fry checked in. Shot clock at 10. Abdur-Rakib draws the assignment. Good help by Winchester. Love the roll.
Yep.
Give it to him.
There's that high roll, kind of a 2-man play, and worked for Indiana earlier. That time Kentucky uses it.
Lampley draws contact and will make her to the free throw line. Jayla is yet to make a field goal tonight. Does have a pair of free throws and will shoot 2 here.
Second on Kentucky. Jayla Lampley at the line, shoot 2.
Lampley 21 points a game. LC beaten by Hamilton Southeastern in the finals of the Hall of Fame Classic on ISC back on December the 27th. And we thought, you know what, we'll see that game again at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. We did not. Neither team made it. It was LN, and that will be a media timeout. So let's take it with them. Back in 30 seconds to Gamebridge. We're tied at 37 here on the ISC Sports Network.
What's in a name? What's in a name? Ed Martin Automotive Group, the only name you need to know.
Tonight's game on the ISC Sports Network is brought to us by Hamilton Southeastern Schools. For the first time, Hamilton Southeastern Schools are opening their doors to students from outside of the district. And Hamilton Southeastern excellence starts here. Learn more by going to hscschools.org/enrollment. And Hamilton Southeastern wants to congratulate Maya Makaluski on being named Indiana's Miss Basketball. Greg Rakestraw, Jan Bozier with you, and nothing separating these teams right now. Jan tied at 37.
You know, I was just looking down during that, when you was reading that, looking at Jayla Lampley's career. For 4 years, she started as a freshman, Greg. For 4 years, she averaged 18 points and 5 rebounds. That's an average for all 4 years. That's quite a stat.
And people forget, LC had won a basketball sectional until the last 2 years. One in their school's history. And for those watching from outside of Indiana, this was the 50th year of the IHSAA girls basketball tournament. LC had gone 20-plus years without winning a postseason game. Then they have 2 All-Stars on this team and 2 junior All-Stars, and 2 of them have the same last name. Jayla did not play on Wednesday night, nor did her sister Lola play for the junior All-Stars because Jayla was getting her high school diploma. Graduation ceremonies were on Wednesday at LC at the Corteva Coliseum. Fires the rebound, but missed it, but kept it alive. And Johnson cashes in, Kentucky in front.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, Kentucky is doing what they did last night, really starting to crash and on the boards.
Makaluski wide left, but speaking of
there
crashing,
you go.
And speaking of Lampley.
On cue, Greg. That's what Indiana's got to have more of, second chance points.
Jayla with 6. Show and go by Bradley, the pull. Left it short and touched last by Byers. Baxter bringing the front court now for Indiana. Has a staggered screen to work through, and whistle called against Kentucky. Kaya Hurt will check back in for Indiana.
Foul number 3, Sierra Myers. That is your second, third on Kentucky. Kaya Hurt returning for Indiana.
Indiana turnovers in their first 3 possessions of this half. Lampley, another one. So 12 for the game for Indiana. Nice step through. That was a missed basketball level move, was it not?
Yeah, it was. And I think Kentucky talked about, listen, we got to get Johnson a little more involved in this second half, and she's got a little bit better start so far.
Make it 5 turnovers in 3 minutes and 17 seconds.
She's quickly up to 9 points, Greg.
We referenced this stat earlier, but got to go back to 2012, the last time Kentucky swept Indiana. And this is a very highly thought of senior class in Indiana as well. The help by Baxter, good recognition by Byers. Eaglin. Good pressure by Baxter.
Boy, Baxter's absolutely hounding her. Wow, that might be a push-off.
Had to get that one away. Didn't hit the rim. Shot clock violation.
I'll tell you, Makaleski is playing about as solid a defense as you can ask, Greg, out there on some of these point guards. Just in-their-face type defense.
Indiana leads the overall series here, 55-42. Makaleski off the window, no.
And that's what differentiates her, Greg, from other point guards. 6'4", you get down low. That's a mismatch in most cases.
Makaleski shooting her 5th and 6th free throws of the game. As a team, Indiana 6 for 8 in the first half. She went 3 of 4. Reference representing Hamilton Southeastern.
Well, she'll be going to IU as another Southeastern young lady departs.
Sydney Parrish.
Sydney Parrish, yeah.
Of course, led Hamilton Southeastern to the state championship in 2019. Went to Oregon before returning home to play at IU. Full court pickup here by Indiana. Good quick hands by Lampley. 11th Kentucky turnover. Baxter just couldn't find an angle to pass it. And eventually her shot was blocked.
Probably should have kicked that one back out. Nothing there.
Great recovery by Kentucky. Ball was tipped, and then Makaleski. She's been outstanding on those passing lanes.
Yes, she has.
Baxter, ball kicked.
Greg, you got to call one of the Butler lady games this year against Indiana. How do you see her fitting into that Butler ball club?
Thing is, that team has turned over. They had some kids elect to exit the program. They play in the women's NIT. Again, this year did Butler. Injuries have not been kind to the Bulldogs, but I said this even a year or two ago. Addie might be a player where you just go, listen, here's the ball, you're our point guard, go. Makaleski shot blocked. And she takes a tumble. Pull up 3, does not go. Peyton Bradley's already got 3 makes. Abdur Rakib, the rebound.
Got to finish.
I'll say she has 2 options,
there you go.
When the C parts, you take it.
I like that option. I don't know if it's A, B, or C, but it sure was the right one.
Both defenders just rotated out towards the wing. Baxter commits the foul. And that will lead us to the media timeout. So little separating these two teams so far midway through the third quarter. It's Indiana 43, Kentucky 41. We're back in 30 seconds. You're watching on the ISC Sports Network.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Now this is a star of our show behind the scenes. Alec Word DeFord. Although it looks like he's auditioning for Dance Fever or Fame with this. But he is the gentleman that often works a lot of our crews, but also all the drone footage that we are showing to you tonight. Alec picked that up for us. So awesome. Alec, thank you very much.
Awesome.
And with that, we can thank our friends at the Ed Martin Automotive Group. They want to congratulate Meredith Tipner and Maya Makaleski of Noblesville and HSE. being a part of today's Indiana-Kentucky All-Star Game. When it comes to your next car, Ed Martin is the only name you need to know. Find out more at edmartin.com.
You know I'm a big Ed Martin guy. I have to tell you that every broadcast. I got 2 vehicles from Ed Martin. Love them both.
Kathy Harrison may sign a lifetime contract knowing that is the case.
They know me at Ed Martin. I walk in there, they go, we hear you.
Monique Mitchell in for Indiana. Kentucky yet to break the huddle.
Well, I think one of the things, Greg, that Kentucky's talking about, listen, we can't fall in love with this huge, long three-pointer that we're not shooting a very good percentage of right now.
So free throws for Kentucky. It's going to be Peyton Bradley that will go to the line. Bradley's 9. She and Johnson lead the way for Kentucky.
Well, and to the point of the long threes they're not hitting, when you're shooting those, you're not going to the free throw line, something they did very well last night, we've highlighted. So you kind of negate that. And rebounding kind of stops too, because you get sometimes those long rebounds are not really the rebounds that you really kind of want. So I think they had a long discussion about a little more rotation and getting the half court set.
If this is a close win for Indiana, Kentucky will look at the free throw percentage. Not numbers taken, but just the ones they have missed.
Right.
That's a key part of the issue. Kentucky 30% from the line. Makaleski turns down the 3. She'll take the contested 2. Have a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play. Will Indiana's miss basketball?
Boy, I like this a lot. There's the ball fake, little stop, little jump, little 4-footer. That's really a solid shot. That's a tough shot. Let me tell you something. She was pretty well defended, Greg. She had a hand right in her face, still put it in.
Third foul on Zakiya Johnson. Kentucky's missed basketball. Makaleski knew that was off from the get-go. She was chasing it. Still a one-possession game. Hawthorne. Good dive by Johnson.
Oh, missed it.
Did not get rewarded for a heads-up play. They hurt. Always wants to go to that left side. Great recognition by Fry, who closed it out with a block. Pair of subs coming on for Kentucky. Tessa Miles comes in. Had an earlier 3. And Aubrey Randolph, who had an earlier 2. Her high school head coach, Michael Robertson, the assistant coach for the Kentucky Girls All-Stars. Makaleski again, tough shot. Bradley, give it to her. Her first 2-point field goal, she's got a dozen.
Yeah, and that was too easy if you're Indiana. That was way too easy.
Lampley. Nice dig there by Kentucky defensively. Mitchell, though, rips it right back.
Well, Lampley's going to figure this out, especially in college, Greg. You get down inside, you can't put the ball on the floor. You just got to do something, go up strong, or kick it back out. But you put it on the floor, it gets you in trouble every time.
Jayla played for her mom at Lawrence Central. Herself an outstanding player, former pro. Foul called on the floor. 2 free throws coming up here for Lampley as Kentucky is in the penalty.
The one thing you hear out of high schoolers that go to the next level, play freshman, sophomore ball, how much more physical it becomes in that paint.
Given the level of AU basketball, both the Lampleys have played some USA basketball events as well. They are as well prepared as you can be to make that jump, but the SEC is a whole different animal. And Lampley misses her first miss of the line, and now 5 tries. Coach Mitchell looking on, realizing it's a lot easier to coach Jayla than his coach against her as he has for the last 4 years. Stacy, the head coach at Warren Central, the school district to the south of Lawrence Central here in the Indianapolis area. Ball is tipped. It'll remain Kentucky ball. Elabo will come in now for Indiana. She'll replace Jayla Lampley. Yeah, tonight's not been a game for line change subs. It's 1 or 2 here. The double by Mitchell gets the steal. Makalewski off the window, score it. Maya's got 16, apace all scores.
Getting up and down the court, making herself available. You got to like that.
Largest lead this half for Indiana, and they are doubling the post every time there's a touch.
That might have been touched. Oh, they're going to say Kentucky touched it on the line, I think.
Well, no argument from Bradley on that.
No, not at all.
All you need to know. Avery Gordon back in. And played briefly in the first half.
Hurt saying, I need a little help down here.
Three-quarter court pickup here. 1-2-2 variety. Mitchell with Gordon setting a kind of a walking wall for her on the way down the lane.
Mitchell got that ball, Greg, and she had one thing in mind, and that was to go up strong.
Monique with 5, all points coming in the first half. Scored 18 points a game this year at South Bend, Washington. First had the chance to play with the Reynolds sisters at South Bend, Washington. Indiana may be picking up full court here. They just moved Gordon off the free throw line. Mitchell missed them both. And then a foul against Indiana, their third.
I think they get Mitchell for the reach in.
And it's not just been the previous Reynolds sisters playing on the All-Star teams. Spider Jones was an Indiana All-Star from that great Washington program as well. The family now has moved to Arlington, Texas. Steve and the daughters all now at UT Arlington. On the drive, Gordon.
That's
got
pretty
a piece.
good D. I thought that was pretty good D.
Hurt.
Oh.
Bobe. Hustling. Saves it. Makalewski. Gordon.
There you go.
Bucket.
How about that, Greg? A little extra pass. Indiana being unselfish right there.
Listen, Kai has played with Jemiah Thomas for 4 years. She knows the value of a good post entry. Makalewski swats it away. And right now, Indiana is playing a front line of 5'11", 6'4", and 6'6".
Kai just continues to make really good basketball plays. She's so quick, sees the court, does all the intangible type things.
I know my buddy, Coach Gillespie at Illinois State, former men's assistant at IUPUI, now IU Indy. All smiles every time.
I would be
too.
too.
Kaya Hurt.
You get so much from her. I just talked about her basketball IQ. She's quicker and lightning, makes great decisions.
Well, all of a sudden, Jan, Indiana has stretched this to 6. Now they turn it over. They have almost doubled their turnover total from the first half.
Yeah, I got a little careless with the ball that time.
Long 2 is good.
And then Kentucky answers with a 3 after the turnover. That's a wake-up call.
Randolph gets the bucket. And Hurt in a bad spot. Has to burn a timeout here to avoid a turnover. It will be a 30-second timeout. This 30-second timeout brought to us by Unranked Hoops, partnering with Indy Heat Gym Rats, Indiana's only Nike EYBL AAU basketball program. Unranked Hoops is dedicated to building a better way to do youth basketball through a series of skill development programs and Indy's first Euro-style basketball academy. It starts this fall. Inside the walls of the newly renovated Unranked Hoops factory in Indy. Unranked provides opportunities for both girls and boys youth hoopers to learn the skills needed for long-term development and success. Check out unrnkd.com and sign up for their email updates.
Well, Indiana, I thought, makes some pretty good plays here, but what you cannot do in this game, Greg, is take your eyes off of focus 1 second, because they made an error, and then Kentucky comes back, hits the 3. Indiana still with a 4-point lead. I still like how Indiana played. I still think the pace really falls into place for them, Greg.
Legendary Ben Davis coach Steve Whitty, we just showed you. Down at floor level, still very involved with the Indiana Basketball Coaches Association. Here comes the trap.
Yep, Kentucky clearly is going to pick up the pressure, and it hurts again.
8th turnover of the quarter. Leads the points for Peyton Bradley.
Well, Kentucky's now got 5 points off pressure.
And what was a 6-point lead is now 2, and Mitchell's in the wrong spot. But Gordon couldn't finish over Byers. for the lead. Not that time, and Bobe grabs the rebound. Then she is fouled, and now Ella will have free throws at the other end. Ella averaged 19 points a game at South Knox, and she owns every scoring record in the history of that school, male or female.
State champion.
Check.
Valedictorian.
Check.
Is there anything she didn't do this year?
Won the MCL Citizenship Award, the John Wooden Award.
John Wooden Award.
During the halftime show.
I think she did okay this year.
Bobe scores. 9 of 10 players now have scored for Indiana. Only Hosier's yet to score. Bobe a miss. South Knox in 2A, but they were constantly in the top 10 for all classes this season. Jump shot does not go. Good clear out by Mitchell. And she'll lead the break.
Too
But then
much
Mitchell
dribbling.
lost it. Yep,
just too much dribbling.
And Bradley's left hand too strong. Winchester tips to Bobe.
Boy, Indiana kind of escapes one there.
Hurt. Makaluski basket. 18 for Maya Makaluski, the assist to Hurt.
Well, that matches what she finished with last night. We still got a quarter to go.
13 assists for Indiana. Makaluski nearly the steal. Hurt got her hands on it. Again, the intensity is never that of any other All-Star game playing in this one. If Kentucky is able to get the win, it would be just their third sweep in the last 34 years, 2008 and 2012. Indiana swept last year. Previous 6 were splits. Cawthorn, no. Indiana can hold for one here.
Get a good look at it. You don't have to force anything.
Baxter was aggressive. Winchester tracks it down, puts it back, no. And that is the end of the quarter. So the Indiana basketball, when we come back, they lead by 5, trying to garner another split in this series. You're watching on ISC.
Hamilton Southeastern is now welcoming students outside of our district.
Whether your child dreams of excelling in the classroom,
Exploring in STEM, thriving in arts, or competing in athletics, HSC has it all.
small class sizes, top-ranked educators, and a focus on academic excellence
Makes HSC the perfect place to learn and grow. Apply now through April 1st for priority consideration.
A look outside of the Cambridge Fieldhouse, the entry pavilion. This building celebrating its 26th year. In years 1 and 26 NBA Finals games
That's hard to
have been played
believe.
in this building.
Looks brand new to me. They do a great job of this place. 26 years.
Obviously, the lower bowl was completely redone, and that was pre-scheduled. It was kind of done during the COVID period. So there was not a game played in 2020, but the next 2 years, this game was played at Southport, and that was kind of pre-planned because of renovations that were taking place here. The Indiana Fever did not play in this building for a couple of summers as well. They have kept this building exceedingly modern, and basically this has been the home of this game in Indiana since the summer of 2000. I want to thank our buddy Nathan Begley of Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance. You get lots of things like cheering your team on to victory. Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance agent Nathan Begley is good at your insurance. That's what Nathan's here to help you think through any question you have about your auto, home, renters, business, or life insurance. Talk to Nathan in person, online, over the phone, 317-507-7871. Go to your local Avon agent Nathan Begley and Let's Insurance together. And Nathan wants to congratulate Avery Gordon of Brownsburg on being an Indiana All-Star.
Well, Greg, Indiana has their biggest lead going into this fourth quarter, led by 5 after 3. Let's see how they do to see if they can take this thing home.
Lampley turns down the 3, which is a good thing she did. She
There
got
you
open
go.
down low and gets the old-fashioned opportunity at a 3-point play.
Outstanding. I think, did she wave this off?
Yeah, I'm going to say on the floor.
Yep, they sure did. I thought she waved it off. Wow. Let's take a look. Maybe we're not going to take a look. Or maybe we did and I didn't see it. One or the other. But I really, wow, I don't know about that.
Should have been an and one. Simple as that.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you on that one.
Baxter, got it.
Wow, that's pretty. Baxter under control. Used her body to make some space.
So Baxter with 10. Joins McAlusky in double figures. Lead back to 7. That's the largest it's been this half. Then a foul on Lampley. And now free throws will come up for Cawthorn.
You continue to look up the scoreboard, Greg. You can't help but notice. We've still got a quarter to go, but no double-digit scores right now for, at least on the floor, for Kentucky.
Yeah, Bradley's the only one. She's getting a breather. Cawthorn's first free throws of the game. She has 8. Averaged 20.5 points. And George Rogers-Clark is a 69% free throw shooter and makes them both. Led her high school to a 28-3 record. And here's that diamond and 1 pressure. Winchester.
Tough pass.
Well, it wasn't the intended target, but it worked out just fine. Hosier getting some run here. Lampley going to work with a left hand.
There
Give
you
it to
go.
her.
I said earlier in this game, she's got more in her, and she's played, I think, really nice tonight. But this is her at her best, Greg.
Johnson, give it to her. Johnson with 11. So both teams starting to pick it up a little bit offensively here.
Well, Kentucky's playing defense with some urgency, and they're forcing Indiana to turn the ball over.
Johnson again, 3-point game. And a timeout taken by Indiana. And they're down to 1 timeout remaining. That will also count as our media timeout for the quarter as well. So we'll step aside. Every time Indiana tries to break free, Kentucky reels them back in. 3-point lead for the Hoosier State here on ISC.
What's in a name? What's in a name? Ed Martin Automotive Group, the only name you need to know.
I want to thank our tremendous ISC Sports Network crew. Thanks to Vince Morales, Dennis Glover, David Kahn. Thanks to Eric Cadet. Thanks to Brian Pearson. I want to thank our buddy Carlos Alarcon on our floor camera today. Alongside Jan Bozier, Greg Rakestraw with you. Sitting here looking at the Jumbotron. Remember, that's not the broadcast show. The shots I'm seeing in the building aren't the ones we're showing you here on the floor. But we appreciate you being with us. And again, want to thank the Indiana Basketball Coaches Association. You know, Facebook memories can be a bad thing or a great thing. We at ISC did our first Indiana-Kentucky event, doing the junior versus junior game in 2018. You and I had the pleasure of going to Knights Hall in Bellarmine for the game in Kentucky in 2019. And these days now we do 4 doubleheaders in All-Star Weekend. Something we look forward to 52 weeks a year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Indiana's got to recognize clearly Kentucky's going to put pressure. You got to take care of the ball here, Greg.
And there's a turnover. And then a foul given by Hosier. Now 19 turnovers for Indiana, 11 of those since halftime.
Well, every high school has a press breaker, and most of them probably are a little bit different, so it's tough to get a lot of things in, and you just got to take care of the ball here. Pass through the press, don't dribble.
A double by McAlusky. Bradley finds space and left it short, but gets her own rebound. Another jump shot missed. Fry extends the possession. Frankly, Kentucky deserved better that time down.
That's 3 offensive rebounds in 1 possession.
And then Lampley gives it away. And Layla Abdur-Rakib will be heading to the scorer's table momentarily. She'll check in next dead ball. It's an Indiana roster that has a lot of point guards of the 10 players that are playing. 3, no. Winchester able to track it down.
Winchester gets pretty good inside position.
Ball kicked. Winchester had double-digit rebounds last night. She has 7 with 7:39 to go this evening. Hosier will check out. This full court pickup has been lethal. Lampley steps in the passing lane and couldn't finish. And Kentucky rips away the rebound. Both teams dealing with some struggles offensively right now. And then Winchester just held her ground. Abdur-Rakib flying down the floor, got hit. She's all right. The Kentucky player with a full roll almost off the floor that time, and Peyton Bradley. And Abdur-Rakib will shoot 2. And Layla headed to play at New Mexico. So she is off to Albuquerque in the very near future. And missed that one.
Indiana has not shot free throws very well. The only good news, they've shot them better than Kentucky, at least so far.
This is a very different background these players are used to, as Layla gets that to go. Now for Indiana, there are several players that have played in state championship games in this building. But not something you do on a regular basis, having that many seats behind you. But for some of them that are going to play at such a high level of college basketball, you need to get used to it.
Yeah.
Good communication on the floor by Indiana defensively. Winchester's calling out every screen. That's who you're hearing. Bradley, 3 over her, does not go, and Makaluski.
Great rebound.
Yep. Indiana plus 12 on the glass, plus 4 offensively. Winchester draws the foul, 3rd against Kentucky.
And Greg, how about Makaluski with 10 rebounds, now in double-double territory. But listen, they've got to have that right now. She's got to help them on the boards.
Kentucky just keeps hanging around. It's not been a double-digit lead in this game. Baxter with the left hand, no. Lampley able to track it down. Powers it through, no. That's touched last by Abdur-Rakib. Indiana 37% from the field, Kentucky 35%. Neither team shooting it well, frankly, in any aspect of this game. Bradley did not get that down in time.
Boy, you look up at the three-point shooting, Greg, and Indiana under 10% for three-point. Kentucky not much better, 22.7, but that's where that long court, the longer three-point, I think, has thrown a little wrinkle in the shooting.
Abdur-Rakib lost the handle. Johnson, no, but draws contact, and she will shoot 2.
And we talked about that's kind of her MO right there. Give me the ball, let me go strong to the bucket, and either get something or get fouled, and that's her game.
Johnson with 14. She and Bradley lead the way as the lone double-digit scorers for Kentucky.
You know, Greg, we talked about some others for your career. How about Johnson averaging 20 points a game for her career and 7 rebounds.
And you got to remember in Kentucky,
they can play
you can
many
play
years.
as a middle schooler. So you have some
Right.
5- and 6-year kids. McAlusky.
That's very true.
Very wisely saw Fry coming. It's kind of extended that arm out.
I think hers is 4, but I do know there are some that have 5 and on the boys' side. I know there's a couple that have 5 and 6 years.
I heard about Richie Farmer like playing for a decade, seemingly growing up in Southern Indiana. McAlusky hits the first of 3.
Well, who's the name of the young man a couple of years ago where Kentucky Wesleyan, he was Mr. Basketball, and he like started when he was in the 7th
grade.
Seventh
Correct,
grade.
yep.
What was his name? It escapes my mind.
Last 2 Kentucky Mr. Basketballs have both gone to Kentucky. Malachi Moreno from Great Crossing this year. Perry last year headed to Kentucky. McAlusky makes 2 of 3.
I think Perry just transferred, didn't he?
Potentially.
I think he did. Or we said he was going to.
It's almost news who doesn't transfer
That's
anymore,
very
Jim.
true. That's very true. You don't talk about it anymore because there's so many that do.
20 and 10 for McAlusky, and it's a 5-point lead. Johnson not there in Winchester. Again, her point total's not been impressive. She has done all the little things well. He's been the glue player for this Indiana team. Dorakib finds Jayla Lampley, but Lampley is tied up.
That's
We'll go
Kentucky
the direction.
ball.
Yep.
Greg, we just got a 2-possession game here. This is saying 5:29 left. This is still anybody's game.
Well, this is very much a nail biter at this point.
Got to close the deal here.
Catch and shoot 3 that misses everything.
Yeah, that was once again way behind the second line.
That's a 2 that is good, and a timeout coming for Kentucky. Johnson with 16. It'll be a full timeout taken by Kentucky. We will take it with them. Our score at the break, Indiana 60 and Kentucky 57. We're back in 30 seconds on ISC.
The MSD of Lawrence Township embodies educational excellence, unlocking the full potential of every student we serve. Where innovation meets tradition, our students excel in welcoming safe, state-of-the-art facilities. A traditional public school district, Lawrence Township boasts a 95% graduation rate. On the court and in the arts, our students excel. Join the Lawrence Township family, where learners thrive, surrounded by values that resonate with home. Lawrence Township, your destination for a brighter future.
And we thank our friends at Unranked Hoops, partnering with Indy Heat Gym Rats, Indiana's only Nike EYBLAU basketball program. Unranked Hoops dedicated to building a better way to do youth basketball through a series of skill development programs and Indy's first Eurostyle Basketball Academy that starts this fall. Inside the walls of the renovated Unranked Hoops factory in Indianapolis, Unranked provides opportunities for both girls and boys youth hoopers to learn the skills needed for long-term development and success. Check out unranked.com, that's UNRNKD.com, and sign up for email updates. Stay tuned. Following the game, we'll have our blue-collar player of the game, brought to us by Boilermakers Local 374. That is coming up after the conclusion of today's game.
Greg, I did verify it. He transferred to Ole Miss, made it official yesterday. How about that? I can actually remember something.
Good sourcing by you.
Occasionally you get one right.
Hurt missed it. Again, a little bit of zone there by Kentucky, and Hurt had a wide open lane and could not finish Bradley, but Hurt gets it back by her, saves it. She didn't need to. But possession continues for Kentucky. Bradley all the way in, got fouled. Nothing has come easy for either team tonight.
No, it's just been kind of that kind of jerky type game and a low scoring, but the good news is for fans, it's still anybody's game regardless who you're rooting for.
Frankly, this game very reminiscent of last year's game in this building. Indiana won that one 66-64. We've referenced the various splits over the last couple of years until last year when Indiana swept. Indiana won by a bigger margin in Lexington last year than they won by here. As Bradley makes them both. She's got 16. Fry back in. Cawthorn back in the game as well. Monique Mitchell for Indiana. Looking to go on the attack. Good move. Bradley went flying, just couldn't finish. But Mitchell's best offense, maybe just go get it, which is what she did.
Followed her shot well. That was key right there. Indiana clearly needed that one.
Byers with inside position and scores on Makaluski.
That's Byers' 6, Greg.
Back to a 1-point game.
Yeah, Kentucky not going away. Nobody expected him to.
Abdur-Rakib's got to cross the time stripe. Did so just in time. Winchester. Yes.
There's confidence.
A 2 for Winchester. They've seen several shots that have been high school threes and college twos, but a needed bucket regardless of point total for Indiana. Cawthorn finishes on Winchester.
Now Kentucky's playing their game, Greg. Pressure and right at the rim are most of their shots.
Hurt with the right hand. Again, that's not her strong hand. Mitchell got fouled. She'll shoot 2. So Monique missed 2 free throws earlier. Monique over 1,300 career points in her days at South Bend, Washington. Connects on that one.
Got in free throws now down the stretch.
Mitchell with 8 after having 12 last night.
Greg, Indiana with 22 turnovers in this one. They only had 16 in the loss last night.
And then Mitchell a foul. And that'll be 2 free throws for Kentucky. That'll send Miss Basketball to the line to shoot 2. And Zakiya Johnson. So both teams in the penalty now for the final 3:27. Makaluski heads back to the bench for a quick word with her high school head coach and Brian Satterfield.
Kind of felt like she needed a 20-point game today, and she has not disappointed. She'd love to have a win with it, I'm sure.
In a class where there were, frankly, multiple options for Miss Basketball, Maya has looked the part all week long.
No doubt, Greg.
Abdur-Rakib lost it. And again, that's not a knock on Maya. That is how good this class was.
Right.
And that's what makes how Kentucky has played them now for 2 nights all the more impressive.
And a little added pressure from the perspective when Tipner was not able to play. I mean, Tipner, a 20-plus point per game, so Makaluski had to kind of help with offset a little bit of that.
Shot clock at 13. Mitchell on the ISO. Around Byers, no. And lost a shoe in the process. Kentucky on the break. Hurt going to be called for the foul, and now 2 free throws for Kentucky to take the lead.
It sure is.
These 2 teams, by the way, have kind of burned through some timeouts as well. There's 1 timeout left for Indiana, 2 for Kentucky.
Well, you got last night's game. You got the travel for both. You a little bigger court tonight. They just had at least Indiana had the juniors game, so there's been a lot of activity here this week for a lot of these girls.
And again, the Indiana juniors, the girls for the juniors against the juniors only played 8-minute quarters because they were down to 9 players on Wednesday night. So they shortened that game a little bit. Bradley hits the first free throw. Kentucky has their first lead in a while. Missed that one. 66-65 though, Kentucky in front. Lampley taken away. Kentucky the ball in a 1-point lead.
Turnover 23 for Indiana.
Byers goes away from the double. Extra pass, Bradley for 3, got it.
That was way downtown too, Greg.
Peyton Bradley with 20. She had 3 first half threes. It's a 2-score lead for Kentucky.
All of a sudden, Kentucky's starting to smell the end here, and they've got a 2-possession lead.
Looking for their first sweep since 2012. Makalewski on the take.
Uh-oh.
Looking for contact, didn't get it. Bradley, Byers, foul, and Byers will get 2. Byers during the season, a 64% free throw shooter.
Greg, all of a sudden, Kentucky's living at the free throw line. We talked about that earlier when they were getting there. Now at the right time for them, wrong time for Indiana. They are getting to the line to close this thing out.
Byers had 15 last night.
Boy, these could be big. What we got?
Might need maybe a little blood cleanup, I think might be what we're asking for.
All right.
So both teams getting sent to their bench with 2:07 left to go. Again, the boys' game scheduled for a 7:30 start. Might be delayed a little bit given the length of this one. Good crowd on hand here at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Take a look at what Kentucky has done well again. Never trailed by more than 8, but they have been scrapping and clawing to get back in front this entire game, and they've done so here down the stretch.
Well, and I think specifically, Greg, in this fourth quarter, they've taken a 3 when it's been a good shot, but it's not been a shot they just kind of lean on. They've really taken their game inside, which has also got them to the free throw line.
So taking care of the blood timeout. Free throws coming up for Byers. And Indiana can stop it just one time. And obviously because we're playing college rules, you can advance the ball with a timeout here too. And a miss for Byers. It has been Johnson and Bradley that have done most of the offensive heavy lifting for Kentucky tonight. Byers makes the second of 2.
Boy, Indiana needs a good look at it right here, Greg. Plenty of time, but you don't want this thing to get too far away from you.
Winchester lost the handle. And traveling.
Yeah, it has to be. She's okay laying down, but once she picked up the foot, you got to call traveling. Good call by the official.
7 consecutive points for Kentucky.
Turnover 24 for Indiana.
Randolph getting some minutes late. Almost an extra step taken there. Bradley, good find. Cawthorn for 3.
Oh, wow.
That might have been the nail in the coffin had it gone. Byers the putback and makes it a 7-point game.
That's huge right there. Absolutely huge.
3-score game now. Abdur-Rakib, no, but foul called, and she'll get 2 free throws. So Bradley called for the foul. Abdur-Rakib, 1 for 2 from the line in this game. Layla at LC this season, 73% from the free throw stripe. The Bears knocked off by their rivals Lawrence North in the sectional final. She's got 6.
Yep, got to hit free throws here. They're a must now. Still 2-possession game. Indiana's going to probably, I would think, pick them up full court here.
It's a 5-point game. Full court pickup. And steps called.
Got a break. Got to cash in on this one right here, Greg. Turnover 17 for Kentucky. Got an opportunity.
Makaleski, no. Runner, yes.
That was big.
Baxter with 12.
One possession that game, Greg, under a minute.
Jump ball here. And this blossomed out of nowhere, Jan, for Indiana.
It did. Baxter makes a big-time play. Then Makaleski ties her up. Indiana has got an opportunity.
And Makaleski, speaking of IU, on cue. In the blink of an eye, from 7-1 with 53 seconds to play.
Got to stop ball.
Randolph. And Indiana does not have to foul here because of the shot clock. Shot clock's at 17. Great help. And jump ball. Arrow stays here.
Good backside help from Indiana, Greg. Really forced her to make a difficult shot. That wouldn't have happened had not the help got there in time.
Eaglin now will come in to replace Randolph. Shot clock does not reset on the jump ball. Eaglin on the dive. Got it.
Oh, wow.
Eaglin's second field goal. She's got 5, but still a 3-point game. Hurt. The hesitation getting that left hand.
Oh, I thought it was going to go.
Would not go, but she'll get 2. And again, there's so much time left. I don't blame her for not kicking that to a teammate. She knew she had it, and again, on her dominant left side.
Listen, 2 points with the clock stops, not a bad deal.
So Hurt with 6. Mitchell will check in. I think if Hurt makes the free throw. Indiana 1 timeout, Kentucky 2. Makes them both. Mitchell in. It's actually be Winchester that'll check out. Indiana, of course, will pick up full court. And now, maybe you got 10 seconds for the steal, then you have to foul because the shot clock and game clock are synced up. Contact there. Blocking foul against Indiana. And Bradley will go to the other end and shoot free throws.
I'm not so sure that's such a bad foul.
Takes no time off the clock.
Yeah, it takes no time off the clock. I'm not referring to the contact, but from the game perspective and the clock not moving. Who's at the free throw line, Greg?
Bradley, one of the better shooters. Bradley with 20. Makaleski 22, Bradley 20, and Johnson 18. Those are players that are going to Indiana, Louisville, as well as Louisiana State.
Yeah, Bradley, one of the top 2 free throw shooters on this ball club at 86%.
Winchester will check back into the first free throw. Bradley connects. Indiana, again, I think will hold this timeout, knowing they could advance the ball. 30 seconds, you only have to. She'll check in. Kentucky will take the timeout. Both coaches are going, hey, you can take it. No, you can take it. You can have the timeout. Kentucky's going to get it. We'll keep it right here at this point. As Bradley, as expected, makes them both. And again, Jan, I don't think you have to take a three-pointer. I think you can get a quick 2 and be just fine.
You got to score, and if 2 is it, so be it. Bradley really with a nice game at 22. Greg to lead Kentucky. Johnson's now back up to 18. Slow start, but she's finished strong.
Both teams now with a timeout remaining. This is the 50th year of this series. We did not play in 2020. This is the 98th time these teams have played. Indiana leads it 55-42. They have won 33 of the last 51. trying to avoid the first Kentucky sweep since 2012. Full court man pickup. Neither team has a foul to give. Hurt, that is a 2, and missed everything. Now Indiana doesn't have much choice. If you don't get an immediate steal, you got to foul.
Yep.
No foul given just yet. Cawthorn eventually tied up, but 5 seconds came off the clock there, Jam. And now she hits 1. The math is starting to not check out for Indiana.
It's 8.4, not a lot of time left. Greg White got a second. Let me compliment the lady officials here today. They've really done an outstanding job, in my opinion. Really nice job. Let me tell you something. All-star games are not easy to call, period. Kind of a different beast, and I think they've had a good flow. They've called a really nice game.
Cawthorn now 1 of 3 from the line. Again, both teams have struggled from the stripe. Indiana 67%, Kentucky 56%. This is the big one here. And missed it. Makaleski saves it. Live ball has to be a 3. Abdur-Rahim for the tie.
Got it! Yes, sir! How about Indiana at the buzzer, Greg?
You've seen the last 6 weeks, right? It's Indiana, right? Come on. Indiana was going to hit the shot.
Yeah.
It's in Gamebridge Fieldhouse.
It's in the script,
Indiana
baby.
was going to make it.
Oh, my. How about that?
Waiting for a choke signal there from Layla Abdur-Rahim. So, overtime. Free basketball.
Oh, I love it.
Here in Indiana and Kentucky. Her first made 3 of the game. She's got 10, and we'll play 5 more minutes. So tied at 76.
That's back by line number 2, too. That's way back there.
First overtime in this series since 2019. Indiana won that one, 76-71. You and I witnessed the last buzzer beater in this series. That was a young lady from Westfield that hit the game-winning shot in Owensboro to win the first game 3 years ago in 2022.
At the Michigan, I believe.
67-66. So that changes things a little bit. By the way, foul issues could play a factor here too. Makaleski and Abdur-Rahim each have 4. For Kentucky, Johnson, Bradley, and Cawthorn each have 4 as well. We'll have ourselves a jump ball to start the overtime.
Yeah, Kentucky outscored Indiana in that fourth quarter, 28-23. But Indiana didn't look like they had much of an opportunity with about 2 minutes left. And man, they scratched and clawed, Greg, and got yourself right back in this thing.
Baxter, Makaleski, Winchester, Lampley, Abdur-Rahim. Starting 5 on the floor for Indiana. Same for Kentucky. Johnson, Byers, Cawthorn, Eaglin, and Bradley. So our boys going to be a little bit delayed tonight. That's all right. Free basketball in game number 1. ISO for Makaleski. And draws the foul. Jan, sometimes basketball can be as simple as get the ball in your best player's hands and get out of the way.
She really does a good job here, just kind of pressuring and forcing and physical in the opponent. And they didn't get any backside help, so they never got position. So she really, it had to be a foul because the defender was moving the whole time. She's played a lot of minutes tonight, Greg.
So Fry will check back in. That was Cawthorn's 5th foul, so she's done. Makaleski with 23. Of course, when you're heading down to IU to play, when you have to report to campus, you don't need much time. Makaleski makes them both. She had a phenomenal game against Kentucky last year in the junior game at Scottsburg. Pretty doggone good the last 2 nights as well.
That's for sure.
42 points combined. Nice find. Johnson ties it.
Yeah, Johnson really moving towards the bucket there. She elevates real well, too. She gets down that low. That's tough to stop.
Miss Basketballs have looked the part tonight, haven't they?
Yes, they have, and that's awesome to see.
Jump ball. The arrow points to Kentucky. That is an Indiana turnover.
Greg, there's something to be said for wearing that number 1 on your jersey.
It is a great response. It is a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it really is.
People tend not to talk if players wearing number 2 through 14 don't do much in a game.
No.
They talk a lot if the one wearing number 1 doesn't bring
That's
it.
well said. There's a lot of expectation. You know, I talked about Mullins the other day going, oh, he scored 16, 18. Well, most guys go great, but he does a little more than that sometimes.
Johnson, the pull. Not that time. 5 go to the board, trying to track it down to Eaglin. Fouled. Eaglin a key bucket late. We'll get 2 free throws here. And that gets the shooter's roll.
Kentucky's really shot well from the free throw line down halfway through quarter 4 and into this overtime.
Broadcaster jinx applied unintentionally by Jant, even if Indiana is our home state. 1 point lead for Kentucky. Winchester, right idea, just couldn't hang on to it.
Turnover 26.
By the way, we'll monitor both, especially Zakiya Johnson. She is approaching some pretty rare territory in terms of combined points in 2 games in the series. Her total right now is 3rd best in Kentucky's history in terms of points scored. Fry's runner, and sometimes, Jan, you can be too open. Winchester. Makaleski off the window, score it. Indiana back in front.
Nice pass. Nothing fancy, just fundamentals. Get her the good bounce pass. Really good transition right there, Greg.
26 for Makaleski. She's approaching some Indiana records as well. Scoop and score by Bradley. Bradley has now cleared 20 points in both games. She's got 24. Lampley at the other end.
Now, here's where Indiana may have an edge, Greg. Kentucky has not played a ton of players, and Indiana has rotated maybe a little bit more.
It's a fair point.
Oh, that's a lot of steps.
Johnson, the step back does not go. Who touched it last? Kentucky did. By the way, the record for points in an all-star game on the women's side is 31. Both states have had a player do that. Amaya Jenkins had 31 for Kentucky 3 years ago. The great Tiffany Gooden had 31 years ago, 1994. She holds the 2-game record as well. Hurt, Lampley, the 2 Lawrence Township kids combined on the bucket.
Greg, this can't be an accident. All of a sudden, Indiana's finding wide open layups.
Nah, Jan, I think your point was very well made. Johnson trying to tie it. No. And that's going to be a foul on Fry, and Kaya Hurt will shoot 2. And the tank maybe a little closer to E for Kentucky.
Yeah. We've highlighted a little bit longer floor. That's another piece of the puzzle you have to get used to as a high schooler is the longer floor.
I want to make sure we compliment Pat McKee, who does a wonderful job
great job
putting together the All-Star Game program and maintaining all of the records that have been kept over the years.
And just the information piece alone is astronomical.
That makes it easier for
Yeah,
us
that's
to
for sure.
spit out facts like, hey, this is the first overtime game since 19. again, this is not most All-Star games. If Hurt makes one, it's a 2-score lead. It connects. For Kentucky, Aubrey Randolph will check in. Hurt now with 8. Hurt getting some minutes in Baxter's spot here. Indiana was down 7 with 80 seconds to play. Got it to overtime.
Oh, that's huge.
Johnson with 22. The big players have been the big players tonight.
Yes, they have.
Abdur-Rahim finds a safety valve. Hurt right down the lane. Shot block, clean block by Byers. Out of bounds to Indiana. And let it be noted that 3 of the 5 players playing for Indiana reside in Lawrence Township. And Byers saying she didn't touch it. She may have been right. Winchester. Over her left shoulder. That was tough.
That's big.
There wasn't exactly a window to get that one off. She found a way.
Powered it up there.
It's been Johnson every time
down.
Oh
my, she's taking over now.
You can see why. She's going to LSU.
Well, and that's what you and I just talked about, number 1. And that's what number 1's doing, clutch.
She had 28 last night. She's got 24 tonight. Free throws incoming for Indiana. So, by the way, Johnson now with 52 combined points. That is the second most by any Kentucky player in the history of the rivalry. Abdur-Rahim to shoot 2. Layla now 3 for 5 at the line tonight. Connects here. Monique Mitchell in, Brooke Winchester out. Little defense for offense. And for Kentucky, they'll get Bradley back out there, giving Eagling a breather.
Oh,
right idea. Byers just couldn't grab it.
She had her posted too, Greg.
And while we have not discussed the Kentucky number of giveaways as much, certainly it plays a factor. 19. Baxter now back in. Mitchell will check out. Indiana will go with a 3-guard look, and McAlusky is the 4th of this group. Again, Kentucky does not have to foul here. They need to stop. Hurt. Almost. Almost. Baxter, all by her lonesome. Up and under. No. Lampley couldn't hang on. She got fouled. Lampley fouled by Byers, and Lampley will get 2 free throws. Byers just fouled out. So Byers will exit the game. She'll lead with 9 points and 8 rebounds, or she heads off to Michigan. Eagleton will come back in to replace her. Eagleton headed to play at Northern Kentucky. Jemiah Thomas is heading that direction as well, who just missed the All-Star team after 4 great years at Lawrence North. Lampley connects. It's a 2-score game.
Got to have them now. These are huge.
Lampley with 14.
Oh,
and that's good.
Yep.
5-point game. Doesn't have to be a 3. It's got to be points. It's neither. It's a steal. Now Kentucky needs to foul. Hurt. Abdur-Rakib. When you made the game-tying shot, you take that if you don't need to.
Nope, didn't need that one.
Eaglin hustling back. Abdur-Rakib gives the foul. And Eaglin will shoot 2. I want to go back and talk about that combined points for Zakiya Johnson. Sitting on 52 points. She is one of 7 players in the history of this game to clear 50 points in 2 games combined.
That's amazing. That's a big stat.
And for her, she should know that 2 of the 6 that have done it before her are still playing in the WNBA right now. Skylar Diggins and Jackie Young, just to kind of give her an idea as to the select company she has joined. Eaglin hits. Tiffany Gooden has that record of 55. Jerry Grigsby of Kentucky, the second year we played this, had 54 points combined in 1977.
Well, this thing ain't over. It's a one-possession game, Greg. Wow.
Makalewski, ball kicked. We'll see when Kentucky elects to give a foul here, how long they try to play this out. Baxter comes back to the ball and is given the foul, and Baxter to the free throw line. Baxter certainly was amongst those missed basketball candidates this year. Fry picks up her 5th foul.
Addison Baxter, shooting 2.
Baxter a miss.
You can kind of see when she left her arm, she kind of pushed that one a little bit. Not much ball rotation at all. Really kind of shot putted that one. Usually a pretty good free throw shooter.
And misses both, but Makalewski stripped. Kentucky's got it and then gives it away.
Indiana's just got to take care of the ball here, Greg.
Lampley knocked away. Johnson got fouled.
And that may be 3, too. I think that's 3 free throws. You've got to be kidding me.
They'll talk about was her foot across the line or not.
I don't think so. Let's see if we can take a look at it here, Greg.
She's behind the line.
Oh, yeah. There's no question behind the line.
But now let's see the signal. 3 shots, yes.
That's the correct call.
So Johnson to shoot 3. Johnson has some misses from the line today.
Oh, my.
Not on that one. She's got 25, and again, she is potentially rewriting the record books in terms of combined points scored in the series. Makes them both.
74% her senior year free throw shooter.
1 to tie it here. Indiana's got 2 timeouts. They will call one here to ice. Then if she makes, they can call another one to advance the ball into the front court.
Well, we got our money's worth, didn't we?
That's still with 1 game left to go, Chan. And I would say about a 20-minute break in between games is what we will see. As the boys' game was scheduled to start 6 minutes from now, obviously, that will not be the case. Both teams are in the tunnel and waiting to get to the floor. But this has been worth the price of admission. Johnson last night 28 and 11. Tonight 26 and 5.
Serious numbers. (28 and 21) last night for Johnson and Bradley.
They delivered again.
They sure did.
Got it. Tie game. Indiana not using their timeout here. They try to bring it the length of the floor. Yeah, time came off the clock. They're going to put it back at 7.
That's good officiating. All those little details are so important in a close game like this.
Hurt. Has to go. 5, 4, Hurt, 3, runner for the win. No, put back.
No.
I don't think so, no. Yeah, it was late. I would agree with that.
Yeah, there's no way that would work out.
Yeah, we've got replay in the building. We're not going to use it tonight. We'll play a second overtime. Take a look. You'll see the red line in the backboard. Yes. So more free basketball. So to the second overtime we go. Tied at 90. And what was, frankly, a lower scoring game is all of a sudden going to become one of the more higher scoring contests in the history of this game. And this could be a serious war of attrition when we get to a second overtime.
Well, let's give Kentucky some credit because it's deserved. You know, there for a few minutes it looked like they may have all lost their legs, but boy, somehow they figured it out. You got their second win and scratched and clawed and come right back and got this thing tied.
Indiana came from 7 down in regulation. Kentucky scored the last 5 points, including 3 clutch free throws for Zakiya Johnson. If she scores 1 more point, she will have the sole possession of the record for most points scored in 2 All-Star games. She now has the Kentucky record already. Again, Tiffany Gooden, who was a phenomenal player in her high school days. Back in 1994, she scored 55. She scored 31 and 24 in her 2 games.
Greg, has there ever been a double overtime?
Not that I can see. This was just the second overtime game that we have played, at least as it's noted here in the record book.
I want to be history of some sort, for crying out loud.
Now, this is the second double overtime game I've called in the series.
Yeah.
I did the boys game at the Farnham Dudgeon Civic Center in 2017 that snapped a pretty lengthy losing streak for Kentucky in that game.
There we go.
Kentucky will have the ball.
Boy, Johnson wants the ball. Johnson's calling for the ball down on the block. You can see what they want to do is get her isolated, and that's not a bad strategy.
Johnson and Bradley each have 4 fouls. Makaluski and Mitchell have 4 fouls as well. On the drive, Baxter is fouled. That's on Randolph, her first. And Baxter will shoot 2, and she missed too late. Could have put the game away. He misses that one too. Atypical for her.
Yeah, it really is.
Both teams low 60s in terms of free throw percentage. Got that one to go. She's got 13. Now it's Johnson. Mitchell draws a defensive assignment. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Johnson in the lane. Draws contact, and she'll shoot 2.
She's a tough matchup, Greg. When she decides to put her head down and go to the bucket, if you don't get backside help, hey, she's quick. See how she just used her body to gain space? They're going to like that at LSU, I can tell you that.
And she is the new record holder now for combined points scored in 2 games in the Indiana-Kentucky All-Star Series.
Greg, that type of game just carries over. It does to the next level.
One of the top recruited players in the nation going to LSU. Missed the free throw, got the putback. She's got 30, and Kentucky's in front. Mitchell for the lead. How about that?
Man, that's ice in the veins, isn't it?
Her second made 3. Hurt.
Oh, what a perfect pass.
Couldn't get back in time. Randolph lays it up and in.
That thing just got over the top of the defender by millimeters.
Up and under by Baxter, no. touch last by Kentucky. That is Tessa Miles. I think to some degree there would be an asterisk to this because of the additional minutes we have played. But we have never had both teams break 100 in the same All-Star game on the girls' side. Bobe steps out of bounds.
Oh, my.
Last team to clear 100 was Kentucky. They beat Indiana by 25. That game was played at Southport 3 years ago. Isolate for Johnson. They're going to work Mitchell.
Oh, they got her.
Her fifth.
Well, they just decided, Greg, you can't blame him. Get her the ball, get out of her way.
So Mitchell checks out, Winchester checks back in. And on both sides, you're going to have some players that have been sitting for a while that are going to get back in this game due to fouls. Johnson now has tied the single game scoring record in the history of this game with 31. And one player in each state has done that before. And now it is the sole property from Zakiya Johnson with 32. Makaleski turns it, got it. Makaleski with 28.
I'm not sure how she willed that thing in.
Maya's going to be pretty high up the record books as well at the conclusion of this one. 1 point game.
Indiana's got to find a stop.
Bradley. There's a stop. Bobe the rebound. Chance to seesaw back in front. Baxter, Lampley goes right to Makaleski. She got clobbered, and Maya will shoot two. So before tonight, there had been 5 30-point games in the history of the Indiana-Kentucky All-Star Series. We may have 2 tonight. Now again, these players are going to play 50 minutes at least. Makaleski a miss there.
Rare miss, actually. She doesn't miss many. 80% free throw shooter.
Got that one. 29. Tied at 97. The trap by Indiana. Eaglin steps into a three and buries it.
That's one of those you go, no, yes!
Eaglin with 11. Kentucky has put 100 on the board.
That was way back there. That was as big a shot in this game as we've had.
Lampley looking for some help. Finds it in Baxter. Baxter got fouled. Well, Indiana has continued to work their way to the line. Now can they cash them in? Tuning in for the boys game, obviously. We'll get it to you eventually. We're in quarter number 6 of this one.
Yep. I don't remember if I've ever had a 3 overtime game. I think I have somewhere along the line. Not very many.
Baxter now with 14. Most points a Kentucky team has scored in this game is 101. They've done it twice. Going to be Indiana basketball. Yep, that's off of Randolph. Hurt will come back in for Bobe. Two to tie, 3 to take the lead. Makaleski just tried to force that one up. But Eaglin in a tough spot. Bradley the blow by and score it. Bradley's got 26. Timeout taken by Kentucky. 4-point lead, 2-possession lead, but Jan, as we have seen, large leads have not been safe.
No. 102-98. Well, Kentucky's really played well, Greg, in overtime number 2. Got great shot selections. Got to the free throw line, I think, which has really been the biggest key for them here.
The 102 is the most points scored by Kentucky in this game. The most points that either team has scored in a girls all-star game. Indiana put up 113 back in 1993. It is going to be a late night at Gamebridge Fieldhouse.
Yes, it is. We stay here long enough.
They've had just a few of those over the last few weeks.
We may get to see that NBA game whether we want to or not.
First game 2 tomorrow night in Oklahoma City. Game 3 here on Wednesday. Game 4 on Friday.
Well, every possession kind of huge now.
Lampley on the take and missed it. Had a good look that would not go. Lampley with 15 points, but couldn't convert there. And again, now we're kind of back to where we were at the end of regulation.
Yeah, sure feels like it.
Johnson,
whoa!
Blocking foul.
She took a shot.
She'll take 2 at the free throw line.
Right. Winchester jumps right back up. There's no question that their game plan in this second half, Greg, not just in this quarter, but has been obviously get it to Johnson, but their play has been everything downhill, and that has got them to the free throw line.
Johnson with 33. In a new All-Star game record. Makes them both. She has made free throw after free throw. She has now made 8 of her last 9. Baxter's runner, got it. Baxter with 16.
Yeah.
Both teams have cleared triple digits. We went to overtime, tied at 76.
Indiana's got to have a stop. Got to have a stop.
Long 2, no.
Got it.
There's that stop. Winchester the rebound.
Now you got to get something here.
Makaleski with a left hand, no. Lampley kept it alive, but Kentucky the rebound. But Baxter the takeaway. Then she lost the handle. Johnson. Good rebound by Kentucky. Makaleski just fouled out.
He sure did.
With 29 and 14. Now free throws coming up for Jalen Green. Jalen just put back in the game because, again, they're starting to run out of players for both teams because of the number of fouls.
Well, no question, though, that Makaleski brought her A game, Greg. What a game she played. Double-double, 29 and 14. That's pretty impressive.
The 47 combined points that she scores over 2 games puts her in the top 10 of players to have played in this game. Green left it short. She is now 0 for 3 from the line. Those first 2 coming back in the first half. Again, we will have a second game for you this evening at some point following this one.
Oh, she
missed them both.
Sure did. Left the door open a little bit.
Hurt. Lampley.
Got a quick one.
2-point game.
Quick one.
Timeout called by Indiana. So Lampley now is 17.
Well, if you're going to do something, do it quick right here, and they get it. Nice look assist. Back to 2-point game, Greg.
And Winchester's got 4 fouls for Indiana. Johnson and Bradley have 4 for Kentucky. If we have a held ball, that does go to Indiana. Of course, we are shooting 2 shots on every foul. And now for Indiana, how long can you go for a steal? When do you have to give a foul here?
I think you make at least one, maybe two at the most if there's not a lot of time elapsed. It still would be huge. Kentucky's hitting free throws pretty solid here. Depends who you foul. But, boy, you got to give at least one, maybe two shots at trying to steal.
Kentucky will bring the ball the length of the floor. Eagles can run the baseline. Eaglin just got the timeout.
Just got it.
30-second timeout.
Both teams now have one timeout remaining. What a battle between these two teams. Setting the bar awfully high for game number 2, is it not?
I'm guessing so. It's not over with yet. Who knows what'll happen? Well, clearly, free throw shooting by Kentucky has kept them in this thing and allowed them to take the lead. Got to get a steal here, Greg. Just a one-possession game. You got still tons of time.
Yeah, Kentucky's going to advance the ball. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And this is, if you don't do this often, you don't think about those things. And I kept wanting to say, hey, guys, take the free 60 feet.
Absolutely.
They now have done that. You and I have a chance to work a decent on women's college basketball games with Marian University. That's always well, you have at least one or two in your pocket at the end of the game to advance the ball, which is what Kentucky just did. Of course, that is an NBA and WNBA rule.
Now you got a foul.
Keep away is being played. Randolph, basket.
Yeah.
4-point game with 13 seconds left to go. Randolph now with 8.
Got to be quick.
Lampley on the drive, missed it, and that's that.
That's that.
Bradley will be fouled, but Kentucky will hang on and get their first sweep since 2012. Tremendous fight by both of these two teams. But Johnson and Bradley just too much to overcome.
60 by two players.
Yeah, Bradley with 47 combined points. She's in that top 10 list as well. Left that short. We'll keep our postgame very brief to give our crew a respite. Bradley misses them both. Timeout called by Indiana. Again, they can advance the ball here, their final timeout. But obviously there's not much in terms of a 4-point play that you got cooked up.
No. Kentucky just going to, for the most part, stay out of their way.
I think it's where you break out the 2-3 zone here, Jan. Just put your hands up, and that would be that. Let's go ahead and give our blue-collar player of the game, brought to us by Boilermakers Local 374. Become a Union Boilermaker and be on your way to a great career. Find out more when you log on to local374.org. And Zakiya Johnson just rewrote the record book for 1-game and 2-game point totals in the history of this series. It's gone 50 years. 28 last night, 34 tonight. She is our blue-collar player of the game.
Well, and let's not forget the rebound she had, too. She's doubles in both nights and rebounding as well. Quite the feat, no doubt about it.
So again, third sweep since 2008 for Kentucky. 2008 and 2012. Indiana leads the all-time series. It's now 55-43, heading to what will be the 50th playing of the event next year. Baxter will get one final look. Foul was called, but zeros on the board. Let's see if these will be shot, if they'll put time on the clock. 2 shots. They'll put a couple of tenths back on. So not what you want to do if you're at Kentucky, however. Should not affect the outcome of this game. They put .3 on. And as we learned on Thursday night, Jan, there's not much you can do with .3 left to go in the game.
No.
Baxter, a miss. Final thoughts on this one, Jan?
Boy, I'll tell you, great game. Great game. Started off slow, picked up. Both teams refused to lose, and finally at the end, it was just Kentucky. You really get to the free throw line, and their missed basketball sealed the deal, to say the least, Greg.
And that's that. 106-103, Kentucky a win. Congratulations to the folks of the Bluegrass State. And a heads up, their operation in terms of the amount of people that are behind the game, kind of not what it is in Indiana. So a special shout out to Scott Chalk and the Van Hooses. A great weekend for them with the girls getting a sweep. Their boys will attempt to get a split about 20 or 25 minutes from now. Let's thank the following sponsors that made it happen. The Ed Martin Automotive Group, the only name you need to know. By Galitco and Daly, Work Injury Lawyers. Learn more at IndianaWorkers.com. By Lawrence Township Schools. Learn more about Lawrence Excellence at LTschools.org. By Nathan Begley of Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance in Avon. Call Nathan Begley today and let's insurance together. By Unranked Hoops, Indy's first Eurostyle basketball academy that starts this fall. Check out UNRNKD.com. And by HSE Schools, helping the students outside of the Hamilton Southeastern District. Learn more at hseschools.org. That'll do it for game number 1. Give us about 20-25 minutes. We'll have game number 2. For Jan Bozier and our entire ISC Sports Network crew, this is Greg Regstrong. Goodbye for now from Indy, where Kentucky gets the girls sweep in double overtime. They win 106-103. Thanks for joining us on ISC.